We are live. There's already two people that have joined in. Probably Antonio and Kim on their phone.
No, but I did a post.
Do you have to sit that far away from me? You don't like me, alright?
No, I don't, because you called me a cunt.
What kind of live
No,
is this?
just because you're not even on the screen. Hello, people.
Hi, I'm here.
Is this a live
She's
podcast or is this a live Insta?
I can turn the footage a little bit.
Oh, I will sit next to you.
What kind of live is this, Adam?
This is straight to YouTube right now.
I'm like the old man asking his kids.
He's like,
What button do I press?
what's YouTube? What's that?
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people that don't. What are those people called that don't tell you their gender? Like the dude that
Like, don't identify.
Yeah,
like he identifies as a
Don't
female.
identify as a male or a female.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not.
Friends,
I'm
family,
non-gender.
haters, everyone out there, welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
But I'm not talking to the haters, I'm only talking to friends and family.
And people that like us.
We have put off the last podcast about 100 times because we've been flat out so busy, going crazy. But I'm getting to sit down again with Kimmy, my wife, and Antonio, my best friend. And sorry to my other best friends that are listening to the podcast. But yeah, Antonio, my best
I'm
friend.
the best.
I'm the best.
You might be
Technically,
a best, but I'm the best.
technically, I'm the best.
And
Your
this episode is brought to you by our good friends at Option Archery.
You.
Yeah, which I'm very grateful that they're sponsoring the podcast.
Hey, do
And,
you like that quivalizer that you use?
No.
Nah.
No, I didn't think so.
I did kill
I've been asked
I
for
don't
it
even
times.
like my quivalizer. Why do I even use it?
Exactly.
We love it.
No,
That's
we love
why.
it. And you guys are both using their gear now too, which is cool.
Mm.
And Dan's actually sent you out a left-handed Option 6 sight, which is cool. So if anyone's interested in the quivalizer, it's like a quiver and a stabilizer in one that us guys use, or the Option sight, which is a fixed pin sight and also a single moving pin sight, go to optionarchery.com and you can have a look what they've got over there. So anyway, thanks for that again, Option Archery, and let's get cracking with this podcast.
Sounds good.
Today, I reckon we could make about 4 podcasts off just the events that happened today, which was
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, like him
it
wearing
was
leg
just-
warmers.
It was insane.
It's like
She's the
Because
fashionista.
my legs get cold, and it's getting cold.
I live in
It's
Newton,
about-
come on down.
60 degrees outside, and I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's actually.
We've
really
got the
nice.
fire cranking
Yeah, it's nice.
for the first time
Yeah.
this year.
And anyway, so we started off the morning. Kim had to sleep in for a change because she's been bombing it up the last couple of weeks. And self and Antonio went out, and Antonio thought he'd missed the rut, but
I had.
You
pretty much
did.
did miss the
Yeah.
rut. Yeah. So the red deer stopped roaring, and the fellow basically all stopped grunting. And this morning we heard one grunt
One grunt.
right at first light, like still in that grey light period. It was a good deep grunt, and then we looked up the hill and there was a red stag chasing some hinds around, and one real pretty fellow buck and another sort of real gnarly big one with him. And anyway, that didn't work, but we kept just joining the dots, it seemed, and going from deer to deer. And we were trying to double back on a big buck that we'd seen earlier on, an old one. And as it turned out, we ended up coming around and sort of semi-stalking, ambushing him because he was coming our way, and Antonio pulled off a brilliant shot straight through the heart. Straight through the heart.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
I was to
And
blame.
you're to blame. You
shit.
give love a bad news.
But yeah, anyway, he drilled this thing and it only ran 50 or 60 metres and died. But it was just a cool event. Sort of shot him on the top of a ridge, and the arrow passed straight through him, sailed in and stuck into a tree like 10 metres off the ground. But Antonio didn't know, but I'd spotted the buck dead straight beside the tree, but I sort of just kept you hanging out for a while.
Yeah, I'm standing looking for my arrow. And I need to find this arrow. I just want to make sure that I hear good. Adam went down, followed the blood trail a bit. I was still looking for the arrow, and then he sort of moseyed my way. He goes, "Oh look, there's your arrow," and it was literally up in the tree, 10 metres up. And it had actually passed through the animal, and it had travelled another 50 metres before it buried in that tree.
Yeah, it drove in the
And
tree.
it wasn't coming out of the tree because I threw sticks at it a bit
That's
and ended up
insane.
snapping the arrow off.
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Oh,
what's
it
happened.
drove into the tree.
That's that gear that, we've tried and tested that gear that we use in those narrow diameter arrows with the
Yeah.
solid machine broadheads. Like I use VPAs, but there's other good ones out there that are similar to them. And that's just pure performance out of that arrow is ridiculous. And
No,
that
that's
deer was
right.
shot at 40 metres. It
Yeah.
wasn't, so it was 40 metres, zipped through the deer, gone straight through the heart, so it's gone through its chest cavities, gone through ribs and whatnot, and still managed to go another 50 metres before it struck the tree.
That's
Anyway, so I'm looking up
crazy.
this arrow and I'm going, well, I guess it's got good blood on it, even though it's all the way up there. So I threw a stick and snapped it off, got it down here, said, look, it looks good. And Adam's going, yes. I said, did you find blood?
Yeah,
He goes, yeah, there's a bit more blood
That's
over
a
there.
good little pointer just for any of the new hunters that are listening. That the whole thing about finding your arrow after the shot is your arrow's the best bit of identification
awesome
towards
clue.
your shot.
It is, it has awesome clues. You can see if you've hit a fatty part of the animal or gone through, low through the sternum. You'll get like a whitey sort of texture on the arrow. It'll be greasy.
Yeah.
And you'll think, well, you haven't hit a vital. If you go through the lungs or through the heart, you'll see bright red blood on the arrow. If it passes through the gut, you'll see green on your arrow.
Yeah, it will smell.
If you get meaty chunks
Yeah.
on it and not much blood, just streaky blood, a lot of times it's just a muscle
Real
hit.
muscle, yeah.
So all those things, it's just like a vital clue that you get that arrow up and you can discern so many different things that have happened.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can decide your next course of action. Covered in blood, mate, this thing's down.
Yeah.
All those
So
other
another
things.
thing is finding the arrow in full, covered in blood, complete pass through.
Yeah.
Finding the arrow broken means it was hanging out of the animal and it snapped off on a tree, or it sheared off on its shoulder blades.
Or it's
There's a
stopped
couple
on the
other
opposite
things.
side of the animal, and then as it's gone to run, it snaps so
Broken.
it's
Yeah.
back out, and the other part of the arrow's in the animal. So there's all these
So
different things.
yeah, find the arrow is
Yeah.
really vital
What's-
piece of information.
Well, as you can see,
What's the difference between heart and lung on the arrow? Like,
not too much different.
okay.
So you
'Cause
get
I've just-
you get oxygenated blood going into the heart, and you get the oxygenated blood coming back from the body. So some depends. You could go through a different chamber. Like today, I feel that I went through the deoxygenated part of the heart. So we took that animal apart, and sure enough, it was straight through the heart. But the blood is darker when it comes back, and it's not oxygenated. So it comes back to the heart, gets
Yeah.
pumped to the lungs. The lungs oxygenate, it goes back to the other part of the heart, gets pumped to the body. So bright red blood is usually a lung shot because it's oxygenated.
Yeah.
When blood's in the lungs,
Well,
it's getting
Mine
oxygen put
has
into
always
it.
been a little bit, with the lungs, a little bit bubbly on the.
Yeah, that's well,
that's
so
a
then that's
real
just
good telltale sign of the
Yeah.
lung.
yeah. So when it's bubbly, obviously you're taking a breath of air. You've got air in your lungs at the time. The arrow goes through. It picks up those air bubbles as it passes through. So
And if it is a pass through, you should have blood separate where the deer run on both sides, to show that there's blood running out this side of the deer and blood running out this side of the deer, and the deer's print should be there
Yeah.
somewhere, because that tells you that it's a pass through as well.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, I just thought we'd touch base
Yeah.
on that.
a liver shot, you'll see dark blood.
Yeah.
When you pick through the liver, and sometimes a liver shot pull an animal up quicker than even a heart shot. I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah, I remember John Bates when he came to hunt rooster with me in Wollongong. He shot this thing, man, practically hit nothing but liver. It was amazing that where the arrow went.
Yeah.
Thing went like literally 10 metres and just
Done. Yeah.
gone. But sometimes you hit liver shots and they go a long way.
Yeah. So anyway, your buck today was
Yes.
heart shot and lung shot. Is that right? When we cut it open,
Yeah.
it was lung and heart, and like it travelled 50 metres at blistering speed, like so.
So
You're
through the
talking
heart
seconds.
and
Steep
lung.
downhill into that gully
Yeah.
too.
Top of the heart, bottom of the lungs, and it was going at blistering speed. And I think it was on its feet for 3 seconds
Yeah.
because it just
The last
You-
15 metres was a big
Yeah.
burnout where it slid down into
you
the gully.
shot, and then you just immediately you're quiet because you can hear them running, and then you're waiting to hear dead silence or a crash, or something like that, and you definitely don't want to hear like constant running because then it's like, well, shit, it's still
Yeah.
going.
Something.
And then,
Yeah.
so that was the same with that buttonhead buck that April shot the other day. April Vokey got her first buck just a couple of days ago,
Yay.
And stoked because she's put in a massive effort.
Mm.
And as soon as she shot, I was just like, okay, be quiet. And you only heard the buck go so far, and then it was dead quiet. So, and yours was the same, but it was a bit hard to tell because you didn't quite know everything. They react so fast that Antonio today was like, I'm pretty sure I hit it perfectly in the heart, but you just never know. So we sort of walked over there for a fair bit of caution. But like I said, I seen it and then was like, I just acted like I hadn't seen it. I was still looking for blood.
So back where we were, I knocked the arrow tree. I'm going at him. It's got good blood, and I think that thing's gone, man. It's what I thought. And then so I turned to Adam. I said, "So did you find more blood? Because I saw him go down that way, but I was too busy looking for my arrow on the ground for so long. So did you find more?" He goes, "Yeah, I found a bit more blood." All right, cool. Is it good blood? He goes, "Yeah, it's good blood." And I'm like, "You found the deer, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yep." I said, so I've been standing like a knob jockey looking for this bloody arrow halfway up the tree, and the deer's already laying down dead over there. But that's pretty cool. And
trying to be caged.
so even there's a little bit more to it because like I miss the rut a lot, and it's always I'm always dependent on school holidays when I make my way up here. So that's 3 years in a row now where I've come up here after the deer have stopped rutting.
Is that 3 or 4 years?
3.
Yeah.
Because the first one was those fighting bucks.
I was just.
That's right.
I'm getting.
And
That fire really works.
yeah, so it's 3 years in a row that I've come up, and then the first chance we got to hunt, whether it was when I got here early enough in the afternoon we went hunted, or the very next morning, that in the first sort of hour of us two hunting together, that I've knocked something over. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But it's
And that's
just
2
so
years in a
weird.
row we both forgot a knife, so we had to carry that thing out whole today.
Usually you drop the stomach out and drop about.
A third of its weight, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it must be 25 kilos in the stomach, or no, maybe not. Maybe 15 kilo in the stomach
Yeah.
on a buck like that, 20 kilos. So you'd usually drop that out, then carry it, which would make it a lot easier. But anyway, we just busted ass and got it out.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's just really weird how things turn out. Like sometimes you can just walk in, hike in, and everything can just all happen
That's hunting, you know.
so
Yeah.
quickly. And then
But-
other times it's just like, ugh,
That's
No,
hunting.
you just.
nothing's happening.
That's right. You just don't know, so you just got to
No.
stick to it and keep. And the same with April's Buttonhead, where I was like, oh, it was just dead silent. The rut had ended. I'm like, and there was just nothing happening, and I'm just like, shit. It just doesn't feel like it's gonna happen. She's had the worst luck. Like the weather will be perfect. I'll be seeing deer running around everywhere. She rocks up. It starts blowing a gale. You take that 1 sense away from deer.
Yeah.
Like they're hearing because it's windy, and they just shut down.
Yeah.
And they just stay in the thick timber where you can't get a stalk or anything on them anyway. And then we just sort of sat down, and I'm just like, well, there's no use quitting. You might as well be out here doing it, and just blind calling for ages, and that buck just come trotting up.
Well,
And even this morning, I was like, Antonio's broken his good charm of shooting one on the first outing, because we looped all the way back around that mountain range to get the wind right on that buck. And a couple of little spikers seen us and sort of ran off, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't seem like he's here. And then we just kept stalking over the ridge, and then we've done enough hunting together that we don't need to talk or signal to one another or anything. You just sort of know the
You
next
just
move.
telepathically.
Well,
read
I'll tell
each
you what
other's
it's like.
minds.
Not quite,
No.
thanks fuck. But it's like having
I've
a
got enough
really
things
good.
in my head without telepathy happening.
Exactly. It's like two good tradesmen that work together. They don't even need to talk. They just know what the next step is and what old mate's gonna do. And that's how we sort of are with hunting. So it worked out perfect. Got him killed. So we're stoked. Antonio, probably spoken about this before, but Antonio and his family love making sausages. And these bucks at the end of the rut, because they've lost a lot of condition, there's virtually no fat on them or anything like that. And the meat does get really gamey. Not that I really mind gamey meat, but the meat gets a real gamey taste to it. And but once you turn it into sausages, bloody beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
That's good.
Perfect. Paprika, beautiful.
Of course, paprika, fine. Paprika.
So no, just like a massive sausage fest.
Oh fuck.
No, just a massive sausage making.
Yeah, no, we haven't. We have big sausage making sessions where all the family comes around and your mates come around, and every neighbour that wants to score a sausage comes around, and everyone chucks in. It's good. It's good fun.
And what's the dry sausage?
Like a salami. It's like,
Yeah.
the way I make it's a bit like a chorizo. Like that's the style that I make.
A chorizo.
Chorizo.
Oh, beautiful, eh? What about when we're out that bloody, out in the middle of nowhere, hunting pigs and goats?
In northwest New South Wales.
And Antonio brought this massive, it was like an asbestos bag, a bag that you put asbestos in, like as in it was that heavy duty, and it was just jammed with this
I had several
chorizo
bags.
sausage. And
so many of them.
just everywhere we went, there was a dozen of them in the backpack, and you just pull up and just be chewing on this. This sounds bad, eh? But you'd be chewing on this big sausage. Sitting down, have a big sausage.
And we were having good cheese with it. Like, that even sounds
that's
worse.
right, cutting cheese and eating the sausage.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But it was awesome. But like Kim, you'll put all the meat in the freezer and fridge
Lately,
this last month and a half.
no.
Well, as it
No,
cools
it's
down,
been a month.
Month.
It's been a good month.
yeah. So when it cools down, we've got a big stockpile of meat, and we'll have big
Oh, it's
sausage
the
making
best.
day, man.
Yeah. No, it's the best. Some of the roasts and some of the slow cooked meals and stuff that you've been doing out of that venison, so freaking good.
We had last night.
We started with, so the button head that you shot, which was the first one for the year out of the three.
Well, you're gonna now go to Kim, who's been on a big tear.
Yeah,
Been
yeah.
bombing up hardcore.
I don't even.
Things come together. That's
I,
Oh, no,
that's
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 fine.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I just
When
don't.
it clicks, it clicks.
I don't know how it's come together.
Pretty hard
It's
for
But
you
it
now.
just has.
No, it's just training and putting the time in and going out there
But
and
it's
being there.
even just like a mental thought of knowing what I want. Like I don't put any pressure on myself or anything like that because I'm just like if it happens, it happens. But it's a mental note in my head of what I want, and for some reason it just comes to fruition each time.
Is it what you want, or also what you need to do when the time comes? Like, is that
No, that's
the thing
that's
that's
what
clicked
I mean.
for you? I know what I need to do now. So next time, because I remember when I first started bow hunting, like I was like, everything was too much to take in, with the nervousness of an animal being in front of me finally, you know. And I'm like, you know, one time I'd forget to look through my peat. Next time I'd forget to bloody put my release aid on properly. I'd be going looking down, forgetting, fumbling with it. But you know, you get to a point where
it all
this is
comes
how it
naturally.
has to happen. It comes, exactly. It comes really naturally.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the hardest thing in bow hunting is drawing in front of an animal and all those movements associated with getting the arrow and the string connecting up and pulling back and all those sorts of things. But when you're basically fluent in those sorts of things and knowing how and when to do it in front of an animal, because I did see when that last buck was walking in on you guys, as that buck went behind the tree, you went, you got back. So as the buck came out of the tree, if you'd caught any of that movement before it or after it,
No,
you wouldn't have come any further.
Yeah.
But you knew when to draw.
Well, Kim usually does.
That's a natural thing that you
And
get.
she
you know.
drew fast. She usually doesn't draw fast, but she knew her little window because that tree's only about that wide.
Yeah.
She knew that was her only window to draw.
Yeah.
And like I've been the voice over her shoulder, but she couldn't
She was
hear
doing
me
it anyway.
because I was a distance away, and I couldn't be noisy. I had to really whisper. She couldn't even hear me, and she was just as I was thinking to do the step and then saying it, she was doing it without even hearing
I
me.
could hear you, but when there was only certain things that I could actually hear, and I remember you said, like the tree on the lean, it's such and such meters or whatever, and I was like, yeah, there's 3 fucking trees, and I can't read them how you read them. You know exactly where they're gonna walk. I have no idea where they're gonna walk.
No, I don't know where they walk, but.
And so I'm like, does it mean this tree or this tree or this tree?
But
I ranged a bunch of trees.
That's what you do.
And in my defence, that was the most leaning tree.
Yeah, but in my defence, it wasn't the only leaning tree.
No,
there
it
was
wasn't.
3 in a row.
Yeah, and they were all pretty much at the
Same
They were, yeah.
distance, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, and then I remember you said, draw when he's behind
Yeah,
that tree.
I said you'll have to draw when his vision's behind a tree because he
Yeah.
grunted and then was just looking straight at us the whole way
Yeah.
walking through.
And so, and when you said draw, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, I know I can, his face is behind the tree, so that's why I drew.
Okay, yeah.
And that's why I tried to
Yeah, see?
draw as
Naturally
fast
you did
as
that.
I
Yeah.
could do it. And it was so crunchy on the ground that I think I must have moved my leg.
No,
And
no, all
it
it is
broke
is when you draw back,
Your
you
balance
put
changes,
weight on
yeah.
a different part.
Oh, and it
So,
broke a
yeah,
twig
yeah,
on my
your
foot
balance
as
changes.
soon as.
There's a
as
lesson
soon-
in that. Like,
Yeah.
and obviously I'm not having a go at you, and everyone learns as they go. And I've done it a million times, and I still do it. When you get into a stand, like if I'm whistling foxes or whatever, I
Stand
put
how you're gonna.
No, kick
stand
shot.
how you're gonna draw, and I
Yeah.
put weight on both, and I break everything.
Ah,
I
okay.
break everything, then I start calling.
Yeah, it's so much to
Yeah,
remember
No,
because
it is,
the
yeah.
time before that you're like, just make sure that you've got enough room. There's nothing
Yeah, that's right.
behind
And
you.
I've seen you do
So
that.
I
when
checked myself to
when
make
I
sure
said
that
get
I
in
had
front of the
enough.
tree, because the best thing you can do is get in front of the tree. There's no use being behind it; it'll block your shot. You can't
Yeah.
spin from side to
And then the
side.
other big
You'll
one
miss
is,
the deer.
here's a still tree.
Yeah,
The moment you've got to get out to do the shot, you move. That's movement
Yeah.
is very easily perceived because you're actually now blocking light to the animal's vision
yeah.
straight
Right.
behind something. But when you're in front,
When you're in
it sort
front,
of clouds your movements because it's behind you.
Right.
When you're behind
Yeah.
something and you step out, oh my god, that's something new that's just appeared. But when you're already in front of the tree,
Because I think people
You're
were
in-
it's
freaking
like
out.
you never
It-
walk
it breaks
ridge-
up your
ridge
background.
lines. I do it all the time still because I'm
we
like,
got
oh,
busted today.
there's
walking
nothing
the
there,
ridge
so I'll just zip across the ridge line. It's the clearest point. Ridge lines are the worst thing to travel along because
red deer
as soon as
today.
you start blocking vision, and this is what these red deer done today. I'm so used to doing that walk and just walking along that ridge line that you can be walking a ridge line 400 meters away and a deer will just pick you flat out.
Yeah.
And not the pick you as in, oh, what's that? Oh, it might be nothing, I'll go back to feeding. No, the pick you as in, what the is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of here, gone.
But we do the same too. Like
Because-
we see things on the ridge line.
No,
it's very
exactly.
easy.
It's easy to pick them out.
Mm.
So you actually block your outline out by being in front of a shrub or a tree or whatever. So as soon as you walk in front of that tree, the first thing I seen you do is do, you know, a movement that you
full
draw,
movement,
and
yeah.
you made sure your elbow wasn't going to bash the tree and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And so I do the same thing, and I'll even get into a stand and hold the bow right out in front of me, and I'll swing to all possibilities where I think a deer's going to come and make sure there's nothing. Like I'm not going to swing that way and hit a branch on a different tree and be like, oh, I can't do that shot now, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, it's just all those tiny little things add
Yeah.
up to dead deer.
Because
Yeah.
if it walks in a different spot, he's covered all angles. And the
How
other
do
big
you
one
know, How do
is.
you know where they're gonna walk?
You-
No, that's
well, you
why
know,
he
that's
said-
why
that's
you
what he
cover
did,
as
he
many
covered-
angles as
But
you
the other,
can.
another big tip which you half touched on is, like when I do it, if I know something might be coming up my way and I've got the time to do it, I will range that tree, I'll range that tree, I'll range that tree. Because in the heat of the moment, you might not be able to get the range fine, but then you've at least, that
Yeah.
one's 35, that's 22, that's 33. So if the deer walks past that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then, but what I do then, while I'm waiting for that deer to walk in, I will keep mentally switching back to remember what that distance was,
Yeah.
and just
yeah.
keep it,
Yeah,
get it
'cause-
drilled in my head, and then when the animal finally comes, oh, it's at 22 metres, good night, Charlie, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Not, oh my God, what was that distance? Oh,
Yeah,
how far is
yeah,
that? You
yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you've got time, I check again. Like if I've forgotten, I'll check again. I'll just do it. It's 2 seconds.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
No. Those things that we're talking about now is what makes you consistently take game.
Yeah.
Those little things, you know. So like Antonio's talking about ranging those trees before anything is even walking in. Because if something starts walking in and you're calling it or it's looking in your direction, you can't even lift up a little rangefinder. You can't scratch it front end. You know, without them spotting you.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, I'm not talking to, you can scratch whatever front end you like. You might have an itchy front neck. But those little
Or an Adam's
things,
apple.
you know,
Yeah.
those little things is what adds up to being really skilled
And
at
successful.
hunting. Yeah. It's like practice, shooting a target, knowing your gear, shooting your gear in the sort of thing you're hunting, you know, having quiet clothes, being quiet,
But it's just-
scanning ahead with binoculars.
It's also all the practical experience that you pick up each time that you go.
Oh,
Any-
definitely.
Definitely.
I'm telling you now, you can't know how to kill animals unless you've killed animals.
Yeah.
Like, that, you know, like you need that experience. You need
Or
on-hand experience.
someone who can help you.
I still don't think that adds up to.
There's been plenty of times where we've taken people out got their first kill, but it takes them time to master it themselves.
No, that's right. That's
It's
right.
so much to
You
take
can't
in.
read what a
It's-
deer does.
No.
You can't read
No,
what a
it's
deer does
experience.
until you've been there with deer, you know, and you can't know how a deer reacts on the shot until you've shot at deer. You know, someone can tell you
Yeah.
where to aim and stuff like that, but you really just don't comprehend it.
No, it
You
is
know,
an
until-
experience thing. It's a learned thing.
Yeah.
And when you're hunting, you're constantly thinking. There's not like someone who's got some God's gift to it, but when you're out there doing it a lot, you think like, you know, no one told me to range every tree while I'm sitting there waiting for something. I just sit there and then I think, you know what?
Yeah.
I feel like ranging all these trees. And then when the animal walked in, that was awesome. Guess what? I'm going to do that every time.
Yeah.
Now I say something to you, hope, you know, another hunter now who hasn't done that sort of stuff before, and I know heaps of people do it, it's not like it's some new trick, but someone now who's listening, they'll become, that may get them an animal one day where if they had the range what was walking in, that blew their chance to get it, and then they had to try and draw after that. So,
Yeah.
you know, minimising movement's a really big deal.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
I reckon I shoot about 85% of my game between 10 and 30 meters, and the rest out at about like 40 or 50. If I can find something on the ground that's at like the 30 meter mark and find the 20 meter mark, they're the only two that I need.
Yeah.
Like if I'm ranging, that's what I really like doing now. I just like finding what's pretty much at 20, what's pretty much at 30.
Yeah.
And I'll know if it comes past the 30, it's 25. Once something comes to 20 or whatever, you just know it's first pin, it's dead. And then if anything's a bit beyond the 30, well, you know it's 40 if worst comes to worst and you've got to shoot it out that far.
Yeah.
You know, so...
You're getting starting to split pins when you get a bit further too, you know.
No,
so
that's
you,
right.
you
But
know,
I
it's
just,
been
if
a
I
bit
can
more
find
accurate.
that thing, that object at 30 and 20 far out, that helps.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm calling, I know they're coming in this 45-degree range
So,
here.
what's the furthest you've ever shot? Distance?
I shot a jackrabbit at like 114.
Meters?
Yep. But I wouldn't take that shot on anything else. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's a jackrabbit. It's
small.
like
You hit
it's
it, it's
either-
going to die.
it's hitting dead, or it's not, or it's a
Yeah.
complete
Or it's a
miss
miss,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And I've
Larger?
shot I've shot stuff at 70 before, but it's been because I've sort of had to. You know, like it was like a follow up shot, or the opportunity was there to shoot something at 70 after I'd whacked it, even though it was going to die. I remember Cameron Haynes said this really well. If you've got the opportunity to put another arrow into an animal, and you can end that quicker, then you take it.
Always.
You do it.
Always.
You do it. It's just like it's another arrow, whatever. You know. Not at the cost of then you don't practice shooting at 70, so you miss it and you just give it an adrenaline rush and spook it and it goes further.
And not the cost of
No.
what you want to do is shoot something at 70 and not even
No,
try to
that's
get
right.
in closer. Like the
No.
closer...
It's like you practice, you know you can shoot at 70, but
Yeah.
and everyone's different. I'm not having a shot because heaps of guys shoot stuff at 70 straight off the bat. You know, that's up to them. That's cool. But for me, I just, you know, and you've seen that close action. Nothing beats that close action.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? And I'm not desperate
I
for.
just noticed like a bit of backlash because that buck was so close to me.
Yeah, but I'll probably
Like as
offend a
in
couple
it
of people
was
now,
it
but
was unfair or
They've
it
never
wasn't
no.
hunted.
Oh my gosh, that's fairer. That's fairer.
like
You're-
as in
we're-
it trusted
How much
you.
chance
No.
are they giving that buck to find you?
That's
To
Like,
bust
you
you?
know what I mean? Oh, it must have
Yeah.
trusted you. I'm pro hunting,
Oh.
but
No,
you
alright,
know,
so a buck's out at 50.
yeah.
No idea you're there, you've ranged it, everything's perfect, you've even managed to flip out your sight, you've got your single pin on it at 50, that thing's going to get zapped without even knowing anything.
Yeah, and that's
It's a
cool.
close-
There's skill in
And
that.
that's fine,
That's skill
there
in
is
that.
an art in it, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But then have an animal come into 6-7 metres and you still manage to get an arrow off the string, that thing knowing that you were even there in the first
Yeah.
place, that's
We
ridiculous.
outwitted
How
it.
many people
That's
say,
how-
how do you get so close? You can't get to 20 metres from a deer. People can't believe it.
Here's my appeal to hunting. My appeal to hunting is
Hunters or hunting?
hunting.
Oh yeah.
My appeal to hunting is outwitting something, like
Yeah.
pitting my skills against that animal's
Yeah.
skills, like
Absolutely.
a wild animal.
Yeah.
And So the closer you can get to that animal, the better. You know, like we're talking about a fully, because I've read some negative comments and, you know, oh, our whitetail, you know, wouldn't allow us to do this, or the deer that I hunt, you'd never get that close. You know, bullshit. Do you know how switched on these deer are? You know, and they're like, all the deer you seem to shoot are really close. Well, you don't see the photos and pictures and videos of the ones that ran away because I don't have any photos or videos on. They outsmarted us. You know, that happens so much. These people on social media just get to see the glory end of it. The glory end of it is the shit we got to kill, the stuff we got close to.
To have a deer that close is amazing.
No, that's the best.
That's amazing. That's
to
the
keep your
weirdest, one of the
composure.
most alert animals.
You stayed still. We played the wind right for starters. You stayed still long enough. You drew the bow back when the deer was blindsided to a tree. We called him. He thought we were a doe.
Yeah, he fooled it.
He's in the rut. He's coming into a doe call. He's worked up. He's grunting. He's like, he was pissed off. Like he walked in pissed off. Like, how dare these bitches walk away from me? I'm the king of this shit. Like that's how they're all walking around thinking that. They all walk around thinking they're King Kong. This whole mountain belongs to just that one buck. Every doe on it is my girl. You know, so that was
I can't believe he left
a good
the
hunt.
does.
But we're very lucky.
But he's greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want nothing to do with him. They kept trying to get away from him that whole time. So
There's
then,
probably a bigger
when he
buck
heard
around
another
somewhere
one,
too, you know?
he was when he heard another one, he's like, "These girls aren't doing what I need, so I'm going elsewhere."
There might have been a bigger buck around that already had those chicks, and the does they want the dominant buck.
Right.
They will refuse lesser bucks. They won't let them get on them, and they'll get around a big dominant buck. And there might have been a bigger dominant buck around there. So that one there is going, I'm not getting no luck with these. Oh my God, there's strays over there. This bloke don't know about it. I'm in there. But look, this is what that was close to that did. But this is hunting, you know, like you're in the wild. These animals are wild. They are the most switched on animals in the switched on, but deer are very switched on. And anything can happen when you're out there. Like I have literally been sitting there with Peg, like having a break, and a deer has walked in behind it. We hear this thing coming, there's a deer behind us. It was looking at us 2 meters behind us, man.
What?
Kept looking at us. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up coming right to here and staring at us, man. We weren't doing anything different to what we do any other day of the week, man. We've just been spent 3 hours chasing deer and couldn't get a shot at one. And here comes one. Shit happens in the wild, man. Things happen in nature, like, and that's why it's so incredible, because that deer came into you at 7 meters or whatever it was when you cracked it. The next deer you're going to shoot's going to be at 27 meters.
Yeah.
And the next one after that might be at 37.
Yeah.
It's just the way it happens, man.
Yeah.
You can't dictate anything, you can't do anything, but all your skills go in to make
The next one.
Yeah, that's right.
make you be able to get an
And the
arrow
other thing
into an animal the best way you can do it.
Yeah, and so you haven't shot a lot, and you're just starting out.
Four.
So we want the animals to come close. So we're working really hard to call them and fool them and get them in close, get those good close shots. Make sure your shots are kill shots. Like, you know, no one wants you coming into the sport, and you don't want to come in. No, I'm not going to call it a sport. No one wants you coming into the discipline,
Pastime.
our pastime, and taking long shots and wounding a deer, and then that's just going to ruin you for, you know.
You can even know that Kim herself has not taken shots at 30 metres.
No, that's right.
Because she wasn't confident in herself
Yeah.
to do those shots. So,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
already that discipline's there, you know.
we wanted first pin shots. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We line, like, that's why there's no, you know, people will be like, oh, that was just good luck. Where the fuck is luck in learning to shoot a bow, getting camoed up,
Walking in the bush,
seeking out deer, right, to
With
call
that.
in close.
Yeah.
We want them to call in close. We want them to come so far, and then we want to shut up so they have to turn broadside because they're not sure which way the does were.
Yeah.
So you get a broadside shot and shoot a deer. There's no luck in us going out and aiming for all that and that happening, you know, and that's the bit that sort of shitted me about some of the negative comments. But But whatever, there's just people
Yeah,
out
that's-
there like that.
They were ignorant comments, to be honest. That was
Mm.
just pure ignorance. That was people who haven't. If
One
they came
thing
here,
is-
if they came here and got to experience all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff, the one that they would walk away from and they'd be so excited about and kept talking about was how close this deer came for a shot.
Yeah.
They would be the one that would stick in their heads for the rest of their lives, because your senses get so heightened, your heart rate would have been so high, anything could have gone wrong at any second. That's the most exciting point
It was insane.
when something comes that close. It's
That's the
best.
I'll tell you,
That's
even
the
when he
first
was
time-
out at
yeah,
60,
yeah.
70 metres, even when he was out at 60, 70 metres, and he just pointed straight at, like I'd been calling him for a while, he didn't seem interested, he was just chasing these other does around, and then he just turned towards us and he let out that violent grunt, like a real deep grunt, and then I seen him just slowly walking towards us, but like staring our way, like all pissed off, and I just said to Kim, I'm like, he's coming for us. He's
Yeah.
coming for us, and he just comes.
That's already
boom
exciting,
on.
there you
Oh,
go.
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
And I
Even
was
at that
like-
distance, it
Yeah.
was pumping. So imagine him getting that close, and he was preaching trees, dude. He was
Yeah,
rubbing
that
his
was-
scent
that
glands on
was-
the trees, and
That's the first time I've ever seen
Man.
that.
and
so
how
that was
awesome
sick.
do they look? Because they just look straight up in the air. That's why they call them preaching, like they're praying or something. And he just looking straight up in the air and just rubbing these little trees. Then he just looks straight back towards us, and then he just comes so natural, dude.
That's awesome.
Nah, it
People
was the
pay
best.
big bucks to go watch animals
It was the
in
best.
a natural environment.
So that was
and-
the last.
And
Yeah.
the closer they can get to a lion kill or anything like that, that's you hear it. You see when there's a lion kill now on the videos, all you can hear is
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And then we're out here doing it ourselves. People got to experience that. They would never ever forget it.
No, and it's full. It's like
Hunting
full
or not.
medieval, instinctive. It's as wild as wild can be.
It's good shit.
Yeah. No, it was freaking awesome. And so anyway, Kim waited for him to turn. He turned.
Because he was like I was kind of lining up his chest, and I was like, you know, I didn't feel confident in shooting him.
The angle it
Like,
was,
yeah.
quartering on it was.
Yeah, so I'm just like, just turn.
And he did. He just slowly started turning, got more broadside, and then right as I was saying take him,
Yeah, I heard the video.
she's released.
Arrows.
Right as I said take, she released.
Yeah.
And cracked him. But Kim thought I said don't shoot.
Yeah, I
So you
kept thinking.
freaked.
Yeah, I kept
Yeah.
thinking.
And then
don't
so
shoot
she
him.
turned around. She's like sorry, and I'm like, what are you sorry for? She's like, I knew she smacked it.
Smoked it.
And then straight away he just started eating dirt. His head went down, just doing the same dude. Beautiful kill.
Yeah.
It took just seconds and he was on the ground. But anyway, I didn't watch the video and I didn't realise what the time was. And so I said to Kim, I'm like, well, if you thought I said don't shoot, what'd you shoot him for? And I'm like, is it because you knew that you had him and the angle was right
Because
anyway?
as the word came out of your mouth, she was
No,
already
no,
shooting.
no, yeah. Well, she's like, no, because I knew he'd turn broadside
Yeah.
enough.
I just.
He must have been
I thought that
inches
he
from being
was-
in our centre.
He's on a different angle
Yeah.
from me. He probably can't see where I can see, and
Mm.
I wasn't really listening to him.
Any bow hunter worth their salt would have loved to have been in that situation, to have a buck coming up with your best friend next to you, watching it with you, even
Yeah.
filming it, whatever. But
I didn't know
any
that
bow
he was
hunter worth
filming
their
it, I
salt
know.
Yeah.
would give a left arm to have opportunities like that. That's
Yeah. But it was just
that's
funny
where
that
the money's at, man.
it was
That's-
just funny that she said sorry in that
Yeah.
because it was the completely opposite
it should
thing
be,
to
man. You shot
say.
a deer.
You know, it was
No,
like
well-
I was just like, oh wow, she smashed it. You know,
I'm
she
sorry I
smacked it. I'm sorry, and I'm like, no, oh,
No,
that's
I
awesome.
was
Yeah,
like
smash it.
sorry
And then-
because I thought he
Yeah,
said
yeah.
don't shoot it, and
That's pretty
and
funny.
also that's the closest I've ever been. So I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
actually
Cool.
seen my arrow impact
Oh,
before
really?
because previously it's been like 20 meters
And you
or
never
so.
saw
And I've
Well, the
can't-
other thing, she
No.
didn't,
I
she didn't get
can't-
a complete pass through on him. Usually the arrow zips straight through, and then
and
we're like,
it's so
what
fast.
happened?
I don't actually. I'm just like, oh great.
Yeah, true.
Great.
And he
I
reacted
missed.
fast. He was just about to let out a grunt, so he had a
Yeah.
grunt ready to go, and then she shot him, and he went
He
as
did.
she shot,
Yes, he
and,
did on the video.
and then he reacted real fast. He did the whole turnover and
yeah.
to get away, and so he dropped on the shot big time. But yeah, so it was a couple of things I didn't know why you said sorry. At
And
the point,
also
but-
because we had changed my sight, so I did shoot him higher than I had
Yeah,
been
but
shooting.
that had nothing to do with
No, it's him
shooting the
dropping
sight.
and rolling and
Yeah.
things like that. He
Because
still, even at 7 meters, man, it
oh,
reacts.
they react
They're
at
fast.
1400 feet per second. You can't,
Yeah.
an arrow can't beat to them for the first bit of the drop.
Mm.
But changing your sight had nothing to do with where you shot him, because you've been shooting the dot on the target. You bumped your bow or your sight, so I readjusted it. I didn't change your sight so you're not hitting where you usually hit. It's the same place. So, no, it's just his reaction.
These are your questions in your mind.
Yeah,
no,
I
it's
know.
right.
I can't help it. I'm just
Yeah.
like.
No, look, man, that's
Yeah,
the deer
no, it's
reacts.
perfect.
You know, you aim for your spot. The deer reacts. You know, can be a bit up or a bit down from where you meant.
Right,
Mm.
because of
But,
the
you know,
reaction.
the deer is moving and reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the red spiky that she shot, in between these two deer we just spoke
Oh,
about,
yeah.
he was the same. Kim spotted him. We got into position. We got into a nice position. We had a couple of minutes to sort of get set up, and I was slightly off to the side. I called him a couple of times, and he come really fast.
He ran.
Then I just shut up because I'm like, he's just gonna run up to her, chest on. She's not gonna get a shot off. By the time they come that close and they're still front on, then the next minute they're just gone.
Yeah, they finally figure it out. And they're
They
out of
just
there.
bust to the side so far she can't get a shot off. So I let him come fast for so far, and then I just shut up.
You have to, yeah.
And then so he come up, and I seen a game trail in front of us. I'm like, maybe he'll hit that game trail and then cross it and go broadside. Mate, he did it perfect. He come all the way to the game trail. Was looking around for the hinds at
How long
the
was that
hind
shot?
call.
19 meters?
Yeah, something
19?
like that.
Yeah.
First pin,
Very
on the dot,
close, man.
straight through the heart.
People go outside and mark out 19
Yeah.
meters on the ground and put the shape of a red deer in front of you and have a look at how close that's
Oh
close,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So that's another thing, like another point, like you can call. I remember
I
I
can't
spoke to you
call.
when Adam was in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So you can call. Now, deer have got such good hearing that they will pinpoint where that sound came from.
Mm-hmm.
They know exactly where they're going to go.
To
So-
a dot.
And Adam made the right choice. That thing's coming already. He's
Mm.
coming up here. Then, as they're coming, if you make another noise when they've already sort of, they'll locate from 100 metres away, very, very close to where it is.
Mm-hmm.
If they're already coming in, they're coming in. They know they think there's another deer up there. When they get there, they're expecting to see a deer.
Right.
So when they come, if you think it's not time to make another call when they're already coming, because then they will definitely pinpoint you, and then they'll definitely get there and say, "There's not a deer there. This is bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm out." That happened today.
Yeah.
Like that big buck that we stalked first up in the morning.
Mm.
He was the head down feeding, and he was going, like he was going to go. And then Adam just tried. Well, I'm just going to call him anyway, just because he's already out of here. If we turn him, we'll turn him. But otherwise, the hunt was gone. There was no way we're going to get back on him. We were just walking too fast and just heading. And as soon as he heard that call, he was like, "Nah, there's already something down there. I've just been down there. I know there's nothing there," and he
Yeah.
just ran off. You know.
Yeah.
But you said to me, I called the buck and it was coming, and then when it was ready, I called again, and then it took off because at that point, it's expecting to see a deer. You called again, no, that is not a deer, or some, and your calls aren't perfect deer calls.
No.
You can mimic them as best you can. Adam and I can mimic as we can. You're never going to be a perfect deer call. There's good calls.
I'm a pretty slutty dog.
Yeah.
You are
he is.
no, I think you're a better
Pretty
hind.
slutty dog.
You're
He
good
is
at-
a good
you're good at
hind.
reds.
But,
But I'm just saying, like that's just
No,
another
that's
point.
right,
Like
yeah.
once you've got the thing coming in, you want to keep everything from that point to a minimum because they're already pinpointing you from the sound, and then what they're looking for is where the sound, what made the sound, which will be the outline of a deer.
Mhm.
They're not going to see one because it's a human, and then, but the moment you make that noise, they're going to go bang and they're going to pin exactly where it came from.
Yeah.
And there is, that happened with an elk in Montana, like 6 days of nothing, and then it was probably a 300, 310 sort of bull. So it was, I was going to crack it. So after seeing nothing,
Mm.
I was going to crack a bloody 200-point bull. But, this thing, Zach, he went down behind me. But that's the other point you can do too. A good tactic is the person, if you are with someone else, and fortunate enough, if the person's going to call, have them behind you. Because then the deer is going to be kind of pushing closer to where that noise is coming from. You'll be in between that distance.
Mhm.
If you sit with that person and they pinpoint you, I'm just going to hang out here at 70 metres and try and figure out what's there. Well, you might be 20, 30 metres in front. You could be in the range where you're effective.
Mm.
What happened with this elk was we called and it came right off the top. We'd just been up this mountain. I didn't want to go back up there. It was late. That was the day that you shot yours and we found you halfway down the mountain and you're dead. And this thing came all the way down this mountain. Like, I've got, it's one of the things, you get a vision in your head. I can picture that elk just coming down this mountain, just angry as anything, screaming as it came down. I'm thinking, oh, what's going to happen finally? Zach was cool. He went back behind me, about 90 metres behind me, and went into these bushes. And the sort of where it came off the bottom of the mountain, it benched, went down. And this bull stood up here to the point where he could see over me where I was down here. I was 70 metres away. I just needed him to come down that next bench. I would have cracked him.
Mm.
Zach was on the one below me, but the bull could see clearly on that whole clearing.
Right.
And because he'd been calling from there to there, this bull's like, there's no cows down there.
Yeah,
Oh.
where's the
And then
cows?
one little noise back up the mountain, he just turned around and went, oh, well, there might be something up there, I'm not seeing nothing here.
Yeah.
So there's times where the
Well,
call,
Yeah, that's when you want to decoy, if they're legal in that state.
yeah,
Then, because the two things, a call and then seeing an animal. So you get those
Right.
decoys and then that's
Yeah.
it. Then it's like, oh shit, yeah, there is a cow down there.
Oh. So with your red, where did you hit the red?
Lungs.
And broadside?
Broadside.
And how far did it travel?
Broadside. 50, 60 metres.
Yeah.
So another
Yeah.
cool shot.
Oh, perfect. So she's pretty much had 3 die right in view. Like they've been like right there. There's been no like, where is it? Where is it? There's been none of that horrible feeling like that. And then and a lot of animals do die out of view because an arrow works through blood loss. You know what I mean? So and it takes a few seconds or 30 seconds or whatever for an animal to die out from blood loss, and because they cover ground so much, a lot of them do die out of view. And there is that little stressful point where you're walking
10
along
seconds,
kind of
they
follow
cover
the
a
road.
lot of ground, man.
Yeah.
I think I was
Insane.
nervous with the red because when we came around the corner, he was just doing these.
He was just in his
So
death
he
row
was
and
still
done.
Tried to roll
sort
over.
of.
Yeah. And he did.
But that's because he was right there and you went straight there to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Well,
because
we
it went quiet so quick, and that's on me, just thinking, nah, the shot was perfect, he's dead, sort of going up there, you should probably give him,
Yeah.
well, old Billy Baker used to give everything
Half hour.
a half hour or so.
Well, that's why today I wasn't too concerned about where this deer was going to be. If it was dead, it was going to be dead where it was laying.
Yeah.
So, and the blood was going to be on the ground, it wasn't going anywhere, there was
Yeah.
no rain imminent,
Yeah.
there was already good blood at the hit site and everything. So I was just content in finding my arrow.
That was 10 metres up a tree.
Yeah, but I was just content in finding my arrow because I thought, you
What
know
I was
what?
going to say on that, when we were saying before how, Yara zipped straight through it and then was in a tree, and I was telling you about that game warden that was up in that guy, the guy was getting in trouble, and I think he even got fined. The game warden, because he shot it so close, was saying that the arrow didn't have enough velocity because it was such a close distance.
Well, that's the biggest
Like,
fallacy I've ever heard.
Whatever it
Because
was, 7 metres or
the
something.
moment an arrow leaves the
Yeah.
bowstring, it's decelerated.
Yeah,
The maximum speed a bow's ever going to have, when they do their IBO testing, the chronograph is set up 1 metre away from
Yeah.
the bow.
yeah.
And the moment it leaves the string, that's it.
That's
It's
the
at a point of
fastest.
deceleration because it's all acceleration coming
Yeah.
off the string. Leave the string, there's nothing more pushing it. If an arrow could pick up speed on the way out there,
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't make
you
it
found
doesn't make
fusion or
sense.
something,
It
No,
doesn't make
doesn't.
sense.
But
It's
anyway,
not
we got the
with
point. I mean,
physics.
they can fine you two for shooting your moose at 2 metres,
Yeah,
shooting up
which is crazy.
at the shoulder
Did
of the
you
moose.
shoot your moose at 2 meters?
Between 4 and 5 metres.
Yeah.
That giant moose.
Yeah.
And how is he shot? That's how big a moose is. Was Adam?
Oh,
He,
had to
he
aim
was
up
he was
to
standing
shoot it.
up.
In the top of the
He was
heart.
standing up, and he went like this to shoot it at that close, and shot it straight through the heart. Like for me, that's something like I have to experience that.
Oh,
That's
it was
like,
amazing. I want to do it every damn year.
to see that on the hoof, an animal that size, and it's a huntable
That's
animal, and it's a deer
massive.
species.
Yeah,
That's a dream, mate.
yeah, it
That's
was
crazy.
freaking awesome. It was so cool.
And the heart's that big, so
Yeah.
it's a good point of aim.
Yeah.
So how's it felt for you? Because like I've been putting venison in the freezer for a long time now. how does it feel for you that, like, even cutting up meat or serving up meat for dinner or pulling it out of the fridge now, that it's an animal that you've taken and that you're connected to?
Look at the grin.
And-
Look at the grin, man, when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
talking
Well,
about it.
it feels good.
Yeah, and
It
now
feels
buying
nice.
meat
It-
feels trashy,
Yeah, I
doesn't it?
don't like it. It feels, I don't like it.
Which is
Like, even
weird, because
tonight
it's
we
never
had-
ever
Except
felt
KFC.
like that before.
Even tonight we had chicken, and I'm like, it's not as special.
We need some wild roosters running around with harvest our own chooks.
Let some go.
No, I don't know. It's just a weird emotional connection and feeling to be able to do that.
Well, you served up
And-
the roast to us all last night, and it was
Yeah.
literally something that you hunted,
Yeah,
something that you helped butcher,
yeah.
and then
No.
you served it up, and it was delicious. But
Oh, it's so good.
it's cool, man. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool
The
thing.
pulled venison burgers
Oh,
that
yeah.
you did, far out. Like, I could just dish the pulled meat constantly, like it was delicious in
Yeah.
these burgers.
Yeah.
I know when I've cooked venison for friends and family and stuff, it's like, did you like it? Did you like
Oh,
it?
Yeah, I
you
know,
wanna
that's
hear
what
it
I
say
always
Because
it,
you,
like-
it's a you
Well,
feel
everyone
pride, you know.
loves
There's
it.
pride in it. There
No,
is pride in
there
it.
is.
It's not, it's not like a big egotistical thing, but
It's-
No.
it's actually it's a pretty cool. I think it's a primal sort of pride.
Yeah.
that you
It's like,
have.
yeah,
Because
it
it's
is
like I'm
primal.
feeding
Or
you.
it's like
Yeah.
spiritual. Like that's
Yeah.
how I feel. Like eating meat of an animal that I've had some connection with. Like I've actually had to hunt that animal and collect its meat.
Yeah.
Collect the bounty and then.
I think it's just throwbacks, mate, a bit Neanderthal in you,
Oh, for sure.
which we've all got,
Well, how could have we done it for so long to
and now
survive
lost touch with it.
and now to lose touch with it? It's insane.
Yeah.
But it's nice to, like you've done it for like forever, and you probably have too. But for someone like me, that's the age that I am, that's only just getting switched onto it now.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Whereas some people are just brought up like that, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
yeah.
they know. So it's just it is what it is. But it's so different because I know what it's like to not.
Well, you've never been exposed to it in your
I've
youth.
never been exposed to it, so
Yeah.
it's
Wasn't
a
in your
completely
family?
different meaning to me to if someone
Yeah.
had have been brought up like that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But so, like one thing that I feel very strong about is the treatment of that meat. So if we hunt something, we know we've carried it to somewhere. We've probably put it in the back of my ute. We've driven it straight back here.
No one else
It's been
has touched
field
it,
dressed straight away, like out there.
and
it's fresh.
I've
it's
seen
clean.
it, and I know
You see
how.
the treatment of it.
Yeah.
Like so, if a bit of meat fell on the ground, okay, we'll give that to the dog.
Mm.
Or whatever, throw it up the hill and the birds can eat it or whatever. Not that that happens, but I'm just saying, we know the treatment of that meat. I know that meat just went from
We
the
never-
hanger
Never got
to the
hormones.
table,
Never
no
got-
hormones,
yeah.
Never got
nothing,
grain fed.
cut up. We've seen every bit of the meat. We know there's no abscess in there or no rotten bits or anything
Yeah,
like
cut
that
it
or
all
no massive big bruise section.
Mm.
So we know it's all good meat and it just gets put in our freezer or a friend or family's fridge and taken out and cooked. And that's the whole process. Like it's that clean.
Yeah.
And so like from being a fisherman, if I go to the fishing market now, all the fish seems dirty because I don't know the treatment of it. How long's it been sitting in there on display? Why does this fish seem a little bit slimy? Like how old is it?
I can't
Or
fish here
is this
anymore.
actually is this actually snapper? Because it sort of don't look like it, but it's labelled snapper. You don't know.
It's Mekong River snapper.
And it's like us buying kangaroo because we've bought kangaroo and it's been delicious, fresh,
And
Kangaroo ain't fun.
and soft and everything like that. Then we'll buy another bit of kangaroo and it's like real game and ranky and it's like,
and
was that a massive big old buck kangaroo and the other one was like a
Yeah,
doe?
true. You know what
I
you've
mean?
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
look,
know what
we'll
I've got.
decide. Like what I shot today.
Yeah, that's good for sausages.
We're gonna make sausages.
We could
from that.
make steaks and
We
roast.
shoot a
and
young
everything else
one.
out
We
of
know
it.
that's gonna be cut up for
Steaks,
chops and
mate.
everything.
There's
man.
There's no mince in a young one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
It's
still,
all prime.
still miss some of the sausage
Yeah.
stuff,
But you know what I mean? Like that's a big part of it for me.
Mm.
And I just if I've caught a fish and I'm eating my own fish, I feel like it's a lot cleaner as well.
Oh, I
Like-
love it.
Like so when we go over to the islands and we cook those fish up you
On
know,
the beach.
On
just
the
in the beach or
That was
whatever, and how fresh they
I
are.
love it, man.
It's easy to eat them like that, but it'd be hard to buy a fish from the store, whole fish like that, that who knows how many days
Yeah, put it
since
on the
it's been
beach.
caught,
Mm.
then put it on the beach and cook it and eat it like that where it's not quite properly cooked. You know, it's like us being
Yeah.
out in the boat, if we're hungry and we just cut a fillet off a fish and we just dip it in like a bit of lemon, lime and
Soy.
soy and eat
you
it
just
raw.
eat it raw, yeah.
Well, I would never do that from a fish that's from a,
From a fish shop.
yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah,
but
you
when
don't
it's
know what
pulled straight
bacteria's
from the
already
water
in it
and
and
it's cut
stuff,
straight
right?
away,
Because
and it's
bacteria.
fresh. No,
builds
that's
up in
right.
it.
And I just feel the
Yeah.
same with meat. I feel just it's a lot healthier for me.
Mm.
Not just healthy as in body wise or whatever.
We know we
Also
don't
healthy
talk about
mind wise.
We don't talk about fishing, but we do a lot.
No, we could yeah.
I know.
For me, it's like, you know, I used to fish heaps because we're on the east coast, and I used to fish non-stop on the east coast and just be so happy to get 2 flathead and a bream, you know, and come home, got some good fish. Now, because fishing in the Pilbara all the time and just cleaning up red emperors, coral trout, Rankin cod, Spanish mackerel. No way can I go fishing on the east coast anymore.
No, I know.
And then
It's
on top of
ruined
that,
you.
but it's the fish that we're eating over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I bring fillets back all the time, and just you're eating the highest table standard quality fish you can get
Mm.
anywhere in Australia, and then you go down. I've always loved eating whiting, eating flathead, even bream. I didn't care, but now that I get this stuff over there,
Yeah.
and I bring that home, and that's
Mm.
my family loves it.
Yeah.
I give them a bit of we have fish nights now. It's
Well,
like a big
sometimes-
event
You know,
now.
I'm just off
Fish
the
night's a
road.
big night.
Where's mine at?
In Adams, Yeti cooler that he carries all the time.
I want some fish.
Yeah, well, yes, I'm
Lovely
actually
guy.
stockpiling enough now that I'm going to bring heaps over.
Good.
I actually
lovely
forgot.
guy.
I was actually bringing some here and I forgot. To be honest, I literally was talking to him about the other day. I'm bringing fish up, and I forgot.
Remember when I didn't even eat seafood?
Anyway, but look,
Oh,
I get the
no,
same
you're
feeling
missing
out
out.
of that fish, but like we
Yeah.
talked about, you shoot things and you cook it for people. I feel I get that cool feeling, I'm catching that fish that I know we don't have very accessible, or it's like, red emperor is like $80 a kilo.
Yeah.
But I feel cool that I can fly back from over there and bring it back home and then have red emperor on the table.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I sort of get that feeling like I've just shot a deer and I'm going to cook deer for
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
that way with them fish as well, because
Yeah.
they're sort of no one gets to eat venison every day of the week.
No, that's right.
No one gets to eat red emperor
Mate,
every day
I'm
of the week.
telling you, it's more than that. It's good for mental health. That you've gone out and hunted that animal or caught that fish and you're eating that fish. You'll put the effort in. You'll put the work in to get it. You.
It's satisfying and it's rewarding.
Yeah.
So you feel like a bit of self-worth, which raises your,
Yeah, exactly.
your good, a good mental state basically,
Yeah.
because you're doing things that are appreciated and they're worth appreciating.
Yeah. We're just animals.
And the
It's
effort that
simple as
goes
that.
into it is,
No, we're animals. And if you're locked in the city, it's like the lion that's locked in the zoo and they're not quite right. They're not quite there.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain.
No, it is. We're just animals. As simple as that. And one thing that I believe that we're supposed to do as animals are like look after the land, but a part of looking after the land can also be hunting. That's
well, absolutely is.
yeah.
It absolutely is. We went through that before about how it's conservation and all those sorts of things about how animal populations have thrived due to hunting being involved because of the funds that are raised. I mean, we've covered this before.
Yeah. No, and
But
I think
those
it's very
population-
fulfilling
We saw
to the
that
race people.
there was like
Mm.
5,000 elk left or something in Northern America
Mm.
when President Roosevelt brought in game hunting seasons and game laws.
Yeah.
And in modern day, people are hunting elk year in, year out, and there's 1.5 million elk or something in America
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I think so.
And that's people have hunted them.
Yeah.
So they were almost hunted into, this is the thing, they were almost hunted into extinction
Yeah.
Mm.
due to no regulation. And, that was people, they were pioneering the West in America and all those sorts of things, and they didn't have a supermarket to go buy food and that sort of thing. What was readily available? Elk. I'm shooting an elk. Deer. I'm shooting a deer. You know, they were just taking, they were sustaining themselves. And I'm sure there would have been some market hunters that were going out and getting the meat for the people as towns started to establish.
Yeah.
But then Roosevelt brought in all the game laws and, you know, public lands and all those sorts of things. From that time, you think about elk were like down to 5,000 elk, almost extinct.
Mm.
They're now over, you know, well over a million, like nearly 1.5 million or
That's
something like that.
insane.
The whole time there's been regulated hunting seasons for over 100 years on those
How
animals
did they get down to the numbers that small?
because
Market hunting.
no, well, what happened was people were
Oh.
pioneering the West, so people
Yeah.
came from Europe and all that and started settling America, and then they started moving from New York across to California, but stopping at all the places in between and building cities. Like you've got all your states, you've got
Yeah,
all your
yeah,
major
yeah.
cities. Well, as those places started to grow, people needed to get fed. They hadn't established massive cattle ranches yet, so the elk got hunted hard.
Right.
The deer got hunted hard, mule deer, white tail, everything got
Mm.
hunted hard.
Mm-hmm.
Bison nearly got extinct because they were shooting them
And-
for
and
skins,
no-
they were shooting for leather, they were shooting them for meat.
Yeah.
So all those things
No
happened.
regulations on them either.
Yeah, it was
So-
just
You know what I mean?
go shoot them and feed yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people needed to feed themselves, and guess what's prime to eat out in the middle of nowhere?
So
You get a piece
so
of meat
it
every
was-
3 weeks, you'll be cheering.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, it must have been taken. The animals must have been hunted at it in a surplus way.
No, absolutely. There was no
Yeah.
regulation. People just bombed up. They walked
No,
out
it'd
and
be like
whacked
having
things
no
out.
speed limit on a road.
Yeah.
There'd be a certain amount of people that would just flog
like-
it down the road.
Why are there no kangaroos in Sydney right now? There were kangaroos
Because
there
there's
because now they've
people
built the
there.
city, it's urbanised, and the kangaroos have been pushed out. They've been murdered. They've been killed. They've been eaten. Whatever.
Murdered.
Yeah.
They're out in rural areas.
Murdered. They're not people.
Jack the Ripper was there.
They've
Anyway.
been killed. Yeah.
Slight exaggeration. But it was good at the time. But anyway, the same thing. So these people hunted the elk. So like I said, that, you know, he brought in the game laws, and since then, and it's not just elk as a species. I mean, I think whitetail is some like 20 million whitetail in America. At the time, it was only like 1 million.
Yeah.
Now there's 20 million. They've been hunted. They're the highest taken game in America by a mile.
Mm.
Turkeys, the turkey numbers were nearly extinct because turkey was obviously a game bird.
Have you
and-
eaten whitetail?
yeah.
You have.
No, I haven't eaten whitetail. No, I ate
I had the
ate
first,
elk and we had
my
mule deer.
first sample of whitetail in Utah a couple months ago. Jen Ribbett served it up on a
Yeah.
Traeger grill.
Oh yeah,
Best meat I've ever eaten, ever.
I think she's one of the best cooks ever.
Yeah,
too.
well,
I saw
that's
No,
I saw
probably-
that stuff and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to go to
no,
that bear
it
camp
was
just to eat a cook. and
like
drink.
the best.
So one of the hunter proficiency tests that I did not so long ago had a chart on there, and it had all the things that drive animals to extinction or limit their numbers and things like that, or put them on the endangered list. And hunting, regulated legal hunting, or just legal hunting, was not even on the list
It wouldn't be.
because it's never driven animals
No.
to endangerment or anything like that. It's
No.
only increased
Yeah.
the number of the species.
All that biological study, all those biologists, everything that goes into the game wardens and all that, they're literally paid for by hunters.
Yeah.
Those people
Yeah.
are then coming back
Hunters-
and policing the hunters
Yeah.
to make sure they do the
That's
right
right.
thing.
Hunters and companies,
Yeah.
because taxes and companies injecting money into conservation, you know,
Yeah,
such
it's
as habitat
massive,
improvement.
massive industry. and
purchase.
Like we said, we've covered the
Yeah.
numbers. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars per.
Yeah.
There's billions of dollars per state practically,
Mm.
and you know all that has gone into. They even use that money to buy back land, to give it back to be as public land, and then they'll go out there and they'll redevelop that land to take it back to its natural state, so that deer herds and migrating
wildlife
animals can
is-
have
Yeah.
passages to travel
Do you
safely
think
and
that?
the seasons. How good are the, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Do
yeah.
you
I mean-
think that people are aware of that though?
No, they're
the
not. They're
Well, I'll tell you
generally-
who's aware of
the
that.
majority of
Hunters are aware of it.
Yeah.
You reckon the majority of hunters are aware of it?
Hunters are aware of it. Yeah.
And this is what you talk about. People aren't necessarily stupid, they just don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. So, you know, it's true. If you did
Yeah.
not know all these things about how much all these animals have grown in number and all those sorts of things, and the only message you seen was, now what you see a lot in the left media sort of thing, all you get to see is, this is cruel, these guys are killers. This is disgusting.
And,
all that
and,
stuff.
it comes
And
from
that's
people
all
with
you
no
get to see.
actual knowledge.
And that's all you're
of
ever going to
wilderness.
see, because that's all you live
That's
in
all
the
you
city, you're
know.
not
No,
interested
that's
in
right.
anything else.
And
Your mind is going to be pointed to that way. But have a conversation with, and have some actual facts put in front of you. Well, guess what? At that point, you are then educated in it, and you will know the difference, and then you'll have
And
a
then
different
you can
opinion.
make
Because
your
it's
mind up.
it's facts, you know. You either have seen the facts or you haven't. You've been spun an emotive story, which most of them are, well, when they
Yeah.
are
They are emotive.
when they are an anti
Yeah.
sort of story, it's emotive. There's no
Yeah.
facts to it.
Yeah.
Because when you put the facts in there, they're going, oh, hang on a minute. And how many times have I had conversations with people, or I'm the vegan, I'm against hunting, but you know what? I've listened to what you're saying, it really makes sense to me. Because it's the first time they've actually opened their eyes and they've actually taken in some of the factual side of it. It's a big deal. It's one of the things that, you know, it's been complacency in the hunting industry for a very long time. We lurk in the shadows, we're not mainstream, let's just keep a lid on it. You know, people won't worry about us as long as we're not disturbing them, which is true. Like, you know, I've gone out and shot that deer today, no one knows I shot that deer today unless we talked about it. You know, and what harm would it do to anybody who didn't know about it and is living their life down in the city? It didn't change their day, it didn't change their life. Put it in their face with no facts or anything around it, and they might say, oh my God, you barbarian.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when someone's educated, oh yeah, I see why you do that.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah,
And you know, it's not, and it isn't for everybody. Not everybody's geared the same way.
yeah.
You know, some people have got probably a bigger Neanderthal throwback gene in them.
Yeah.
I want to hunt them.
No, I think it gets bred out of people.
Yeah.
Basically gets bred out of people. The city
I
breeds that out of
seriously
people.
did not have it in me. Like,
Yeah.
we had 5 years ago, I would have laughed in your face at what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way.
But you said it's bred out. I don't mean it's bred out of people. It's cultured.
Yeah.
Because now the exposure's there for Kim, and that gene that is within you has awoken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You see what I mean? So
Like, I'm still the same
Like,
person that I
I
was
think there's
5
stronger
years
drives
ago.
in people, but I still think everybody.
But I feel like that.
Exposed to
I
it.
feel
Yeah.
like that. I've just like understood it and accepted it and realized what it is.
But you've wanted to as well. Like you've
No,
you
I-
decided,
I-
I'll give it a go.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like I've stifled him ever out of hunting or anything like that. I've always supported him, but I've never really understood it. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's just his thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not
But it
interested
can be
in it.
anyone's thing.
No, I know,
Yeah, that's the
and
thing,
I was
yeah,
just
you
like,
can't
oh,
do that.
that's awesome.
But again,
You know,
it
and I'm
doesn't
always
have to be.
happy for him. But now, because I'm interested in it, he calls me up and he tells me the stories, and I hear the stories, and
You
like
wanna
I'm
hear them.
asking questions, and
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, and I want to know all about it. Whereas before I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, now back to me and this lipstick.
Yeah, it wasn't
shade.
what you're into. And you know what? There's a lot of people who might get exposed to and still won't be into it.
No, that's right.
You know,
No.
Yeah.
That's like,
And,
No,
We're
I've
never gonna
always
be
said
in a-
it's not for everyone. I'm
we're
not
never
trying
gonna
to
be in-
promote it and push it. I'm not saying everyone has to hunt. I'm not saying everyone has to eat meat, or I'm not saying any of that. You know, and I try and make that very clear as I'm promoting, you know, hunting and meeting. I try and make that very clear. And I've got no issue with factory farming. I've got no issue with people going and buying meat. I do have an issue with someone eating meat and then saying hunting's barbaric,
yeah.
or you shouldn't hunt, or you shouldn't kill animals, but
I'm
but
happy
they
to
kill a
eat
bunch
my
of
burger.
animals. No,
but
that's
again,
right.
it comes
Yeah,
back
just-
to the
come on,
uneducation and
just-
the ignorance. You know, like
it's I don't know. It's not uneducated
what?
because you can still be uneducated and realise eating meat is actually an animal and it wasn't born in the packet, or it didn't commit suicide and then someone cut it up and put it in the packet. No, the animal was killed.
Yeah,
As
don't get
simple
me
as
wrong
that.
with the
I don't-
uneducation. I mean, people
there's-
can be.
I don't see any difference. There's no difference in the value of the life of a cow in a paddock that's bred for human consumption, and a wild deer running out in the mountains that's hunted for human consumption. So there's no difference between the two for me.
Well, they can go one way or the other too, because you can farm deer and farm deer and farm deer and have them handled around people, and then they can behave a lot like cattle. They'll always be more highly strung than cattle because
Yeah, yeah.
of their genetic makeup.
Yeah. But all I'm
You know,
saying is
you
I
get
don't.
cows that'll go away from farming environment. We've seen them, and they get
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, no, that's right.
You know,
But I just think there's no difference between the two. I think a cow's a very beautiful animal, and I think a deer is a very beautiful animal.
We found the cow today.
We did.
We did. That's right. That's why I mean we could have made 5 podcasts off just the events today. So Antonio killed his buck, and get everyone up to speed. Antonio killed his buck. Happy days. We're driving back down the hill with the buck in the back of my ute. My ute is a utility vehicle.
Should we
like
say a little
driver.
backstory about
And
like a week
yeah,
ago?
we'll get to it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
for sure. Anyway, I come down the hill and I spot a little calf that about 5 or 6 days ago
Which you didn't
7,
know wasn't
went
actually.
missing. Yeah,
It was a week ago. It was like 7 days ago.
it went missing. So it literally hasn't had a drink from its mother. I've got to say at least 5 days ago.
No, it was 7.
I know, but she might have been mothering it there somewhere on the side. We wouldn't have known about it.
Well,
Anyway, definitely 5 days. The calf's gone without a drink of milk. It should be dead. We
Thought it
seen
was
it.
dead.
It didn't even click in straight away. I was like, what? Like, first I thought baby deer, and then I thought it's one of the neighbours' calves that come in here, and then I was like, holy shit, it's the little bull. It's our calf. And I went over.
It's our first calf, by the way,
Yeah.
and the cows are young, so
Yeah.
they're not.
Here's another little bit of background.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the first calf. We should have 3. We've had 2 already, and wild dogs on 2 occasions have killed those calves. And people want to write me nasty messages about shooting a wild dog. Fuck. We could say something so much worse. But anyway, so this is the first calf we've had that wild dogs haven't torn it apart as soon as it was born. But the mother's a new mother. It's the first calf she's had. She didn't mother it very well, and she wasn't looking after it, and
It struggled.
it struggled. Anyway, we found it.
and they've gotten out.
Yeah, it couldn't stand up, it couldn't walk around or anything like that. We picked it up, we threw it in the vehicle. Antonio nursed it down to the bottom of the mountain and back up to the cabin.
Get weed on me.
It pissed all over
I said
them,
to Adam,
which is all
I
part
said-
of it, it's all good.
Eva, I'm still very excited about shooting that deer. Well, this thing has pissed on me because my crutch has suddenly grown very warm and very moist.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
Ew.
It was
it
cow
was
piss.
definitely cow
He
piss.
was excited though. It was cow piss. And then we got it back here, we made up a makeshift bottle out of a bloody old cleaning glove, and it's just some full cream milk.
Dishwashing gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took some time, but he ended up taking to the bottle, and he seems to be nice and healthy and everything like that. He ended up drinking like 2.5, 3 litres of milk today. So that was awesome. I feel like we saved
The
something
cutest,
today.
it's actually, so just so you know,
Cutest.
it's
The
So
cutest.
Highland cattle. So if you know the woolly Highland bulls, they're from Scotland.
Mm.
Mm.
So it's, man, this thing is just the awesomest looking
Oh,
thing.
it's a little
Yeah.
legend, eh?
It's
Sort of
so
looks
so
like
happy
a
I had to
bloody
nurse it.
bison. A little baby bison.
It does
Yeah.
a little
With his
bit.
square
Awesome
head.
little
Yeah.
critter.
He's
Yeah.
so cute.
But you know, now he's going to be under care. He's going to be bottle fed, bring him back to health, get him to the vet as well, just to check him over, and then we'll have another strong little bull
Yeah.
running around. And this one will be the coolest one because he's going to be hand raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, mate. Such a good story after we thought we'd lost him, and
Yeah.
we didn't know if wild dogs had eaten him or he'd just died because the mother wasn't feeding him or what, but we just couldn't locate him until today when we were coming back from hunting.
Definitely not in a good way. Definitely
No.
very malnutrition, but
Yeah.
he's taken to the bottle. He's only ways up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All is good.
Pissed
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So what else happened today then that you want to talk about?
Just all the action with all the deer.
Just all the action with the deer and
Shooting deer
the
and the
car.
cow.
And then this whole Yeti thing that's blown up about, you know, this,
Oh,
misinf-
that old chestnut.
this misinformation about Yeti dropping the NRA like they used to give them a packet of money or something like that. But the truth is Yeti's never like
Donated money to them.
donated money to them ever. So how are they to drop them? And yet all Yeti done was change their structure on how it's basically a discount for big corporations and
yeah.
companies and things like that.
And their members get the discount.
Yeah, and their members get the discount.
So the
So what
NRA
they did-
is for some people that may
National
not,
Rifle Association in
Association.
America. So
and it's an organisation, yeah,
it's just an organisation, and they're just
of gun owners.
yes,
or
it's
rifle
National
owners
Rifle
or-
Association, and they're very strong
I
advocates.
have to plead ignorance because I don't know.
Yeah, so they're very strong advocates
Much about
for gun ownership in America. And again, like, you know, they do a lot of very, very good work, and you know, this is the American system, and you know, always the left agenda will lift the NRA up as some Nazi cult, but the NRA are just, you know, good people themselves,
Yeah.
promote healthy living and lifestyles, and you know, they're very pro Second Amendment, which is the
No, that's
American,
right.
you know,
And Yeti has not
so,
once said we don't support the Second
yeah.
Amendment.
So look,
So the owners of Yeti, which I've met, own guns. Yeti, the company itself, and the owners support the Second Amendment.
they support the NRA. So
Yeah.
what they've done, this is where people.
Okay.
So they were a preferred vendor.
Question.
So we spoke to Yeti today. Adam spoke to Yeti.
Yeah, I know, but I want to know how this story came to be. Like,
It
who
was
put
not
this
even
out?
put all over social
employee,
media.
not even an employee of NRA wrote like a bit of a, call it a statement, that Yeti.
To who? To the media.
Just put
Yeah, to the
just
media.
put an article out there.
Just put an article out
Put an
there.
article out
She's
there
not
saying-
even an NRA employee, right? But she
Okay.
just set her sights on Yeti, and she put this.
Just
this-
some random chick.
She just
No,
put
she's
no,
got
it's not
something to do
some
with
random
something.
chick. No.
Oh, okay.
She
Well,
put some
I-
Florida.
information out there that Yeti have dropped the NRA, which is not the case at all.
Okay.
Yeti just restructured how
Yes.
they're doing, like their discount, like their corporate and everything
Yeah.
like that program, which is no different than
Yeah.
like a VIP program for like a big outfitter business or something like that. They get a certain amount of discount, and anyone that buys through them would get a certain amount of discount.
Yeah.
The members of NRA
Get a discount.
get a discount
At
to
Yeti.
buy Yeti.
Yeah.
And they've just restructured that, and that's come off as they're no longer supporting the NRA.
This is exactly how they did it, right? So Yeti have preferred vendor system. So preferred vendor is to the organisations that they donate money to. So, and the only people they donate money to are conservation programs. So it would be Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation would be one.
Yeah.
Would be people who do whitetail habitat rehabilitation. Who knows? But it's conservation groups.
Mm-hmm.
So then, but a lot of companies were still considered as a preferred vendor, even though they weren't conservation groups. So all they did was, right, the conservation groups are the ones we actually give dollars to,
Right.
as well as the discount on gear, on gear. And then they made all the companies that aren't conservation groups, now what they're going to get is a corporate discount. So they
Right.
never got dollars from them in the first
They
place.
never got
Right.
dollars.
They got
from-
discounts on gear under the
They
preferred
got
vendor
discount-
program.
They're still
They're
going to get
still
that.
Yeah.
getting that.
But within their company
it's
structure,
just
only
called
preferred
something.
vendors can be called a preferred vendor because they get dollars plus discount on gear.
Right.
NRA plus a lot of other organisations only ever got a discount on
Discount on
gear,
gear.
never got dollars from them.
Yeah.
They're still going to get their discount on gear, but now it's going to be called a corporate program for them, not a preferred vendor. That's
Right.
all it was. But someone
Oh
has
my
grabbed
God.
that and run with it and said, oh my
And,
God, they've dropped us. And that people have just, because right now there's
It's
a big
just-
thing in America that there are a lot of companies right now, because there's a big anti-Second Amendment agenda, you know,
With
after,
some people.
Yeah,
Well, they're highly strong.
they're,
Yeah.
like the media is massive on it, and the media is left-leaning. It's the truth. They're left-leaning, very liberal media over there,
Mm.
and they're very much. We want to repeal the Second Amendment. We want to get rid of the Second Amendment, and then you got a lot of Americans are very upset because they're pro Second Amendment. This
Yeah.
is their politics. It's not our politics here in Australia, but.
Yeah.
I read things and I see things and I'm interested in it. So then there are people who are seeing what's in the media, and there are companies that have said we don't want to support the NRA anymore because they're pro Second Amendment. So there's a big political ball game. So the moment now some company has jumped up and done something against the NRA, well,
Which Yeti
because-
hasn't done.
Yeah.
but what's been
people
happening, it's
that's
been a
been
trend.
twisted.
Like
Yeah. It's just
people have been
shit's
saying
been
boycott them,
twisted.
boycott them, boycott them, and
Only
people who
because
have
they
gone
changed
against
the
it, mate,
name
their
of something
businesses-
that they've always done.
yeah. So the people who've gone against it, mate, it's been grave errors because the majority, I mean, the silent majority spoke in the last election and voted in Trump in the last election, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people. They are, most of those people are pro Second Amendment, and then people are going, you know, a lot of times it's the squeaky wheel gets the most oil, where we're screaming so loud, but it might only be 10% or 15% of the population, or 20%, even if it's 30% population, well, guess what? There's still 70% over here are going to be pissed off. So when they call on a boycott against a company because they support the NRA, well, there might be 60, 70%, who knows, are going to say, well, I'm going to boycott that company. Now, this woman's written this article, which is not factual, which it's been misconstrued basically, and
But people
because
are, like,
people are now
acting
short on the
like
trigger,
it's
because right now it's a
friggin'
massive.
gospel.
There's a lot of things going
people
on.
love that. That's people are constantly looking for what can I yell about? Like people just love. They're just looking for that bit of negativity.
Yeah.
that
But
they
the
can
current climate in
outrun
America
with.
is very much after that shooting in the school is where it's all stemming from. So everybody's
Mind you, that
on a hair trigger to
isn't
say
the only shooting that's ever happened.
no, but everybody's
No,
on
it's
a
just
on,
this time.
everybody's on the precipice right now, and there's very, very short fuses on both sides of the arguments right now. So as soon as something does come out that's negative against the one thing that all these people are supporting, or it's negative against the one that these people are supporting, they're just going to jump on it like a ton of bricks, and that's what's happening.
And that's why there's
sort of,
so many people have jumped on it straight away with this little bit of misinformation. And they're just like boycott Yeti, blah, but they don't see that Yeti's done nothing wrong. You know, this is a bogus bit of a statement that's come out here that's getting a run now, and Yeti actually support hunting, and because that's what it's turned into. Yeti don't support hunters. You know, boycott Yeti, blah blah. Yeti support hunters. Yeti support conservation.
let's talk
Yeti
about
support the
all the
outdoors,
film hunts around the world that Yeti have paid for and supported.
No,
and
exactly. Yeah. Well, I was just in New
But
Zealand
anyway,
on a Yeti film.
They
And
just misconstrued it,
Yeah.
and then people have run with it because right now that is the climate in America.
Yeah, and Yeti support the Second Amendment. So take the Yeti don't support hunting completely out of it and go back right to the source where people are saying, you know, that Yeti's anti-guns. They're not. Yeti support the Second Amendment. Yeti support what's legal. It's as simple as that. The Second Amendment is
law.
Legal. It's law.
It's literally what
Yeti
their
support
constitution.
that.
It's their
You
constitution.
know what I mean? But it's like I said, people, well, can't say all people, but some people are just waiting for what can I go off about? You know, what can I, you know,
it's so sad.
who to boycott? And it's just that whole mob mentality now when they're just like,
Look,
yes,
the sad
yes,
part.
let's
sad part.
stick Yeti.
The saddest part about it, and look, this is on a huge national scale over there, basically. The sad part about it is the damage that gets done. So you can translate that down on a lower level where personal people are being attacked, just on a social media thing or something like that, which is a very prevalent place for personal attacks. You know, we've seen a lot of famous people take themselves out from people's negativeness. Imagine being a company that's worked so hard to forge a reputation, done so much good, like they raised over $1 million for the hurricane relief. And they do good things.
The amount of money that they put into
do.
conservation is insane. But everyone, well, not everyone, once again, stop Adam, stop generalising everyone.
No, but
A certain amount of people just forget that. Like, don't worry about that. It's like you can do good all your life, but fuck one goat. Ivan the goat fucker.
you're never going to be...
No, that's right. You can do good all your life, but screw up once, and I'm not saying they've screwed up once, but I'm just saying just screw up once and that's it. Everyone will remember you and hate you for that.
Well, right now, as it stands, that's how people are thinking about them right now as a company. And it's something that happens in society. I mean, we're using that as an example now because it's close to home for yourself, because you're close with that company.
Well,
but
and
that can happen to anybody, anywhere,
right.
at any time, and it can just destroy a person, destroy a business, destroy a company, you name it. And it's very sad when it happens.
A few people might say,
it's
"Oh, you're
based
just
loosely."
you're just defending them because you're getting paid by."
No, I couldn't give a fuck if I wasn't getting paid by Yeti. If they dropped me as an ambassador, if they didn't know who I was, or if people boycott me or whatever, I couldn't care about any of those things. Like whatever, I'll still defend what I think's right.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
as simple as that. And when it's something that I know is right, then I'll really defend it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why, like, I've noticed there's no one really out there saying shit in defence for them. And I'm just like, what? Are you kidding me? Have you forgotten what this company is? I know what the company is.
Yeah.
I know how the companies run. I know how they feel. I know how they are. I know where they stand, and they're not. This isn't something they've done. You know, and I could read through a quarter of that article and already pick out between the lines something's not right here.
There's an
This is
agenda.
bogus. This
There's
is
an agenda.
This is bullshit.
There is an
And then
agenda.
you read to the end of it, it's like, nah, this isn't right. And then so that's why I got straight on the phone to Yeti and said, look, what's going on? And you know, Yeti have confirmed that it's a bullshit.
The problem is, like, you've gone out and written something today, for an example, and all you did was get slammed because people
But that's
still didn't
fine.
get the full
People-
picture.
No, that's right. But I already knew that was going to happen because people are looking for somewhere to yell, to
Yeah.
scream, to go off at.
Adam's
to be
given
pissed
Yeah,
off.
but what you're
That's
going to
fine,
understand
mate.
is right now,
That's
the
cool.
only picture that they're seeing is what's been painted.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said before, you can only be based on what you see. What you don't know, you don't know. So people right now,
No. Can
Only
you repeat
know-
that again?
so you can only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So people have taken that article,
Yeah,
and it's been written by now. It's been repeated now by a couple of
Do
reputable
people
outlets that
really
they
believe
trust.
that?
Yeah,
Oh.
so-
And those,
so
but
that's
mind you,
who
those
they're
reputable
trusting.
outlets have been misled as well,
Yeah.
because they've only been told that story. Oh
Well,
my
that's
God,
why
has
you
this
don't-
company really done
That's
this?
why you
And
don't
so-
believe everything you see in the news.
But that's right.
And that's why
Oh.
they're believing the story, because those reputable journalists are reading that
Yeah.
article
Yeah,
and they're
but
like, oh, it must be true. They said it.
Yeah,
They
at the
said
end
it,
of the
they
day,
said
we're
it."
not fully educated on it either.
No, that's right.
But you've
No, I
spoken to
know.
the source directly to
Yeah.
the people who it's affecting, and they've told you this is what it is. Like
Yeah.
we still are
But-
giving them a discount
Yeah,
as a
and-
company. We're
And
giving-
I'll say this: even if I wasn't able to reach out and talk to Yeti, I still wouldn't have believed that article, mate.
just because you know them.
No,
But also
no,
because
that's
you
what I'm saying.
you wait for more facts to come
That's
out before
right.
you base your opinion.
Even if I didn't know him, that's what I mean.
Just
Even
wait.
if I wasn't sponsored by Yeti, if I didn't know him, or could be any company, a
There's
company
more to
I've
read
never
into
heard
it.
of.
Yeah.
I know you can't just base it off one thing like that,
Yeah.
you know. And I would just keep my mouth shut
Until
and
the
wait
facts
for all
came
the
out.
facts that come out.
Yeah.
It's like the Cecil thing. You know, as soon as the Cecil thing came out, it had nothing to do that I was a hunter as well. You could see there was bullshit in that article.
It was a left agenda.
You could see that there was something wrong there, that it wasn't right. So, and that's why I started looking into it deeper, because I was like, nah, something doesn't seem right. And why, fucking don't say everyone, Adam. Why a lot of people out there going, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. He shot this, this lion, and he called it out of the park, and they baited it, and there was all this shit that was going on. I was still just sitting there going, nah, that don't sound right.
But again, you got to remember, there were millions of people who will never look left or right. They'll just see what they see in front of them, and that's their life judgment is based on that.
Yeah.
Well,
But
they,
Millions and millions and millions of people just
Because
went
they're
hardcore
just-
for that because
Yeah.
that was the in thing.
full shit.
Because
And
people they see
It's
on
a
TV
motive
they
as
respect.
well. They use
It was all emotive.
yeah.
Well, and the worst thing that
Always
happened,
emotive.
because the
That
damage
thing
is done.
suffered. How do you?
No,
bloody
that's
know?
right. That
Yeah.
the damage is done, because that's what happened. And then when the truth come out in an article, that got hardly any views, because it already had its run time in the news.
So what's going to
in the
happen now with
media.
Yeti? You know what I mean?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
They've,
So-
they've been hit
When
that
all this
hard
truth
now. How
comes
do they
out-
come back from it?
Well,
How
that's
does-
what
Even
I'm
though it's
saying.
bullshit.
Do you think that they need the both, like the NRA and Yeti, need to make a statement?
Yeti
Oh,
will
they
no
will.
matter what
But
because
that's what I mean. But it won't get the same views that this.
no,
you know,
it's
Well,
already
boycott
created
is
this
getting.
hysteria. It's very
really
hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I think that they should both come together
Ah,
and
well,
say
they-
nothing has changed.
There
we
may be
still
a
have
reduction. They
we
may
still have
be
a
some
good
official
relationship.
statements,
I
but
think.
not everyone's going to
I
see
think it's
that.
going to change now.
What do you mean?
Like, I know Yeti mightn't have dropped them before, but after this, shit, who knows? Like, because the NRA released the statement.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
It was
so-
in an NRMA document. Like
NRMA?
in Florida. NRA.
The
NRA
insurance
Florida.
company,
Anyway, regardless,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not. You know,
the
not
NRA.
good.
it's not something that's.
It's not good. The other thing that really got up my goat, was the fact that there's thousands and thousands of companies out there, hundreds in the outdoor industry as well, like camping and
That do
stuff like
nothing
that,
for the NRA at all.
that do nothing for the NRA at all, do nothing for conservation,
No.
and no one giving a shit about them. You know,
Yeah.
then there's thousands and thousands of companies and hundreds in the outdoor industry that are anti-hunting.
Yeah.
There's companies that make camping gear that hunters are
Kathmandu.
using that are
Kathmandu.
anti-hunting,
Kathmandu
and
is
no
a
one's saying
massive
shit about
company.
them. Now we've got someone
anti.
that's on our side. Yeti is on our side.
And they're getting
Yeti
slammed.
support hunting, conservation, the Second Amendment, and they're getting slammed.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck.
That's true.
This is what hunters do to one another as well. We've seen it on a personal
No, that's what
level.
I'm saying. It's,
Hunters-
it is. This is a big scale. It happens the same here.
Some hunters, I said at that time, I didn't say all hunters, I said some hunters. Some hunters, that's just seems to be their purpose, is to put other hunters down. You shouldn't hunt in that method. You shouldn't do this. You shoot too many bucks. You shouldn't wear camo. You should wear plain clothing. You should shoot a traditional bow, not a compound bow. You should shoot Matthews, not Hoyt. You should.
You
know
shot
what I
that
mean?
animal. It's too young.
Yeah.
You shot that animal. It's
It's
too
too
close. You know what I mean? A hunter's putting down other hunters. What the?
We're all we've got. We ain't the majority, so we
Why
need
are
to be
we
all
fighting?
supportive of each
I
other
know.
because we're already.
Like,
We're
Because
already
it
in a
comes
constant
back to
battle.
that same human condition where they can't wait to have a bitch about something, or they need something to yell at. They need something to be
the
pissed off.
dramatization.
They just,
yeah.
I don't understand it because I just prefer to
Because
go
people-
through life without it. I know
I
life
know.
is a lot easier without it.
It's so nice.
Have you ever heard me talk shit about anyone, Antonia, in the hunting
No.
industry besides
Never.
you? Besides you, to your face.
No, you just don't do
No
it.
one. Why?
I know
would
you don't do it.
It doesn't benefit anyone or anything.
And
It
I know
doesn't
you
do it.
actually pull people up
All
on
it
it when they
does-
start doing it.
Yeah.
You say, look, don't worry about it. Let's not talk about negative stuff.
All it does is affect your own mental well-being. Talking shit about someone like
Yeah.
that.
It's something that might keep you up at night and there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Because you stress yourself out over it, or you may say something and then it comes back to bite, and then you're
So
not
this
stressing
is
yourself.
I
that on a
sleep
bigger
so
scale.
much
All these
easier.
people that are cranky and pissed off at Yeti for something they didn't do, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's just simply it's as simple. I'm not saying if a company is
Legitimately.
anti-hunting or legitimately says, you know, no, we
Well,
don't support the Second Amendment or
Yeah.
whatever, or we don't want to follow the law or something like that. I'm not saying that you should then sit on the sidelines and just ignore it.
You've got to fight for your rights.
You've got to fight for your rights.
But you've got to have your facts in
If you
place
want.
before you know what you're
Yeah.
fighting.
That's another song.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Beastie Boys.
Because I remember Hunting Magazine come out in Australia here, and none of the companies were supporting it, and it was our only hunting magazine at the time, Bow Hunting Magazine, and it was going to go under. So I rallied on our forum and said, look, everyone needs to ring up all the bow shops in Australia and say, look, why aren't you supporting the Bow Hunting Magazine here in Australia? We as Bowhunters support you, we buy product, but if you're not going to, whoever advertises in the magazine, we're going to buy from them. And I rang a bunch of shops and stuff like that, and then the magazine rang me a couple of days later and he said, whatever you've done, thanks a bunch, because now there's all these advertisers flowing in. And what it was a little movement that they didn't care about having an Australian magazine, or they didn't want to back it or believe in it, you know what I mean? So I'm saying you do have to fight for things like that. If someone was, you know, we're not going to support conservation or hunting anymore, well, fuck, I'm going to a different company then.
Yeah.
But, you know,
If they come out and outright say it,
but just get the right information
Yeah.
first. You know, there's no use throwing someone under the bus if they haven't done something that
yeah, some people were going against, like I remember that situation with that magazine, and some people were going against it just for personal choice, because I don't like the guy who makes it, or I don't like the guys that write in it, and all that sorts of thing. And I'm just like, it don't matter, mate.
No, it's a
It's-
boning
it's something
magazine
that's-
for Australia.
Yeah, it's growing what we're
Yeah.
doing and supporting what we're doing here in Australia. I support it.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. And then, anyway, we ended up having 2 or 3 magazines, so that was cool. Yours
Yeah.
was one of them. It was unreal. Yeah.
Good job.
Is
Good
that
job.
a belly rumble?
Yeah.
Belly rumbling.
I think he
hardcore.
needs a Tim Tam. Do you need a
Tim
Tim Tam?
Tam, a drink.
Or a
Yeah,
caramel,
Tim Tams.
caramel crown.
Yeah, caramel crown.
Yeah, good job on the magazine when you had it.
Oh, it was kick-ass. It's
Still
freaking
going?
unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, but you don't.
I don't
you
have
don't.
it.
You don't have it anymore.
No,
but
still,
I
it
just
started.
wanted.
Oh, it's good. It got
I
started.
wanted to pay you props for that because it must have been hard work. So good
It
on
was a
her.
passion. It's not hard work when something's a passion.
No,
Yeah.
I know,
It's
but
true. It's not.
Yeah, no. You can
just
tell
take
it's a
the
passion by
compliment,
looking at it. Yeah,
Antonio.
just suck it up, mate.
Jeez.
No.
Aussies,
I don't give them out too often.
Australians don't like getting complimented and don't take them well.
I know, because we're humble. That's
Humble.
why.
We try to be.
We try to be, yeah. No, it was cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, and then so, just since we're on the subject of Yeti, that trip with Jerry Redmond and Brad Smith. So Brad Smith's like legendary bowhunter in Australia.
Standard setter.
He's a standard
What does
setter.
that mean?
He changed the standard on how we treated our hunting and captured our hunting. He set a new standard
Like
and
Brad's always done the best videos, the best hunting footage.
showed the best ethics as well
showed
around
really
hunting
good
as well.
ethics, yeah.
Like
And
really demonstrated it.
yeah.
So when you saw his videos, he would show you this is where you should be shooting, this is where you shouldn't be shooting, these are angles you should be taking. It was extremely educational.
Yeah, no,
There was
the
no
guy-
ego about it.
yeah.
It was just so level.
He needs to be credited hard for
Yeah.
doing that because there was so many young blokes and older blokes and women coming into the sport that his videos would have been the first point of contact coming into bow hunting in Australia.
Yeah.
And to watch one of his videos, you
I
took,
remember you watching
oh mate, I loved it.
back in the
I had
day.
them all.
I'm just
Whatever
like,
video he brought out,
mm.
I'd watch. And there was you'd walk away from it with so much more information, and there was just
It set a new standard, and
Yeah.
actually that's what really started. Like people started to become household names in hunting, in the bow hunting industry in Australia. That were in his videos. You got
Yeah.
into one of Brad Smith's videos, everyone knew who you were because
yeah.
there wasn't a lot.
And
you
the
know, there
other
wasn't
thing
a lot
about
around.
Brad, and same with his partner now, which we'll get to, I've never heard Brad say anything negative about anyone or anything in the sport or anything like that.
No.
Like he's always just been
Yeah.
class act.
So I've dealt with him for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and the closest he's ever come to saying about anyone is he'll just say, "Who are you going hunting with?" I say, "Someone going hunting with." Oh yeah, cool. And then 2 months later, he'll come up to me and say, well, "How'd you go on that hunt?"
Mm.
And then, oh, it was a bit so-so. He goes, "Oh yeah." And I say, "Well, when you say something before," he goes, "Nah, because people have to find out things for
No,
themselves."
exactly.
Right? But even then, he still didn't want to say anything bad. He
No.
just, it was just a silent
Well,
agreement
No,
to
what
say,
a legend, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
and then-
Well, I think he probably assumes that anyone worth his salt can figure it out on their own.
you know. But he's
That's a
also
stupid
guided
saying.
and
Well, shut up.
Like, no.
What?
Anyone worth their salt.
Isn't that that's a saying?
yeah, anyone worth their salt.
Yeah, I know it's a
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying
what are you
it's
applying
stupid.
it to?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you reckon it's stupid?
Where's your salt, mate? Where's
what
your
comes
salt?
out of your pores, mate.
No,
when
do you have a
work
bag of
hard.
salt on you? Can
Yeah,
I feel
I've got
it?
it. It's in my
I
blood.
want to know what it's worth.
What comes out when you
We
sweat?
don't know what it's worth.
What comes out when you sweat? So that's
I
why I
don't
say
know. I don't
anyone
know.
worth their
Liquid?
salt,
It's just a
your
saying.
hard work
It's
and your
just a
sweat
saying.
that you make when you do hard
Liquid?
things. Anyone worth their salt, anyone worth their hard work.
Right, whatever.
All right.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Anyway.
Anyway, no.
So
And then-
he
so Brad's-
obviously
Brad's partner
Alright, so-
now. Brad's partner in all this is Jerry Redmond,
Gerard.
and so Jerry's
you
the
call
same.
him Jez, and I get
Jezza.
so confused.
All
I'm
right.
like,
Jerry
what's his
Redmond
name?
and Brad Smith.
Yeah.
Jerry Redmond and Brad Smith.
Yeah.
Bow Hunt Down Under Films.
Mm-hmm.
That's their company. That's who filmed me in New
New
Zealand. They
Zealand.
did an awesome job. But so Jerry's the same. Like Jerry's never said anything.
Never.
Never talks shit. Never talks garbage. Never talks smack.
Yeah.
Just a full stand-up guy, and he's right up there on Brad's level, as in the most professional bow hunting videographers in Australia. And the stuff that they're starting to produce now, because they've got these unreal cameras, and
They've won an
Yeah.
international award.
they won the Kuyu Award or
The
something like
Kuyu
that.
Award,
for
yeah.
Film award.
Yep.
So
That's awesome.
they're absolute studs, both of them. To walk around New Zealand, like, and that was a tough hunt. Like, we were doing it hard to find a big red stag. Well, actually, we're doing it hard to find any red stag, really. And no complaints, slogged it out the whole time, happy as hell, laughing the whole time, having a good time. Nothing was ever an issue. They're carrying 20 kilos in their backpacks of camera gear and spare batteries, and we're camped up in the Alps. We end up going up in the public land and trying to find reds up there, and chamois, and nothing was up there. They'd all sort of moved out. But some of the stuff they captured, like he just sent me the photos tonight. The photos are insane, but some
But
of the
how are
film
the ones
that
of
they
me
captured, I didn't see any.
though? What?
But the film is going to be insane. That's coming out in June or July.
Cool.
Yeah, that will be awesome.
So that was a hunt that was catered for by Yeti,
Yeah,
supporting
exactly.
the industry yet again.
And mountain ops.
And mountain ops, yeah. So
Remember that time you got mountain ops in your eye?
Maternops.
Maternops.
So what's the food calls it? What? What's your hat? Is that maternops?
Oh, what was the lady at down at the store the other day?
no,
And she's
no,
like,
it was the bank. It was the bank.
yeah,
NAB.
yeah.
And she was like,
Oh, give them our BSB number and shit as well.
oh,
Fucking
okay.
hell.
06, no. No, it was at the bank, and she was like, she said
She's
MTN ops.
Yeah, MTM ops.
Yeah.
And we're just both laughing at it.
Yeah.
Maternops. That's
Yeah.
what they said when I was killing myself.
Freaking hilarious. So, yeah, no, that's right. So that's something that Yeti's invested in. They're going to show that, promoting hunting and bow hunting and stuff like
Outdoors.
that. Outdoors. But that's just, like, I'm just a drop in the ocean
Yeah.
for a big company like that. So, yeah.
But all these companies that do stuff like that for us, everybody should be getting behind every single one of them because they're all in industry,
Yeah.
doing stuff for the industry.
No, that's right. It doesn't have to be the companies that I promote
I
or
think-
anything like that.
I-
just anyone that supports conservation and hunting.
I
and
know,
stuff
but
like
I think
Get
that
behind
when
it.
it comes to the Second Amendment, a lot of people are too scared to touch anything to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're just too
We don't
scared.
have to worry about you in Australia. Man.
We don't have to worry
That's the
about
thing.
it.
It's not our thing. It's their
Well,
thing.
It isn't
yeah,
our
I know
thing.
you say that,
But-
but
No,
because I like I'm an Australian as hell. Like you know what I'm like, but. I'm
The
not for
principle of
borders
what's
or
happened is
flags.
wrong,
Like,
no matter where it
I feel like
happens.
the world, like we all belong to the world.
I
you know,
believe the exact same thing.
We all belong
And
to the world, and it's like a fake boundary line on a map or an ocean can't really separate that. So I feel like it is our sort of issue, and that's why I am sort of getting involved in those things. Especially America's very close to my heart.
It's
I go
close to
there a
me
lot.
as
no. What I'm saying
like
is,
I was brought up there.
what I'm
so-
saying is, the laws
No,
that we
I'm
have
not
to
American,
abide by here.
No, you're
I'm not affected by that. No, the laws that we have to live by here in this country, we're governed by them, are set by a different set of constitutional
Yes.
rules that were set down by
Yeah.
the government and everything like that. And in America, they have their own constitution, and the way people, that's their constitution, and that's their passion. So the passion rides high in America are based on those things, just like our passion rides high on certain things here,
Yeah.
which don't.
Oh, I get
In
it.
Australia, here's the
Trust
opposite
me,
way. So
I-
they'll go crazy. In Australia, just because someone's got a gun in the street, it's the end of the world, man. Like, it's national news straight away because Australia's moved away from guns so much that it's very much abnormal. Whereas in America, the Second Amendment right is, to carry a gun.
Yeah.
Like I said, in
Just
Montana,
for
blokes are
anyone
filming on
listening,
film.
though.
I look left and right, and bloke's got big revolver here,
Yeah.
everybody's got a Glock here, and I'm like, well, no one tries to roll this petrol
Oh, for
station
sure.
today, you know what I mean?
Because there's also some false information out there where a lot of Americans think you can't have guns in Australia, but it couldn't be further from the actual fact. Anyone that actually wants a gun in Australia, if you're a hunter or a farmer or something like that, or you just like going to the gun range, you can still get a gun.
No, you get a gun.
All these people have still got guns.
But we've
It's
got the
just- it's-
highest background
it's
checks
control.
of anywhere.
We've got the highest background check.
Yeah, so a gun owner in Australia is actually the most security screened person
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
it's,
Australia there is because it's full background checks
it's
you got to
just
do.
You give up
gun
knowledge.
control,
You gotta do
safety.
But anyway, it's just it's a different look. It's a different it's a whole
Dynamic.
different culture in
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
and that's based on
And
their,
I'm not getting
on their
caught up in the
constitutional
politics
rights.
of it either.
No,
Like I don't want that to, because I've always said to myself, there's a couple of things that I don't do. I don't get involved in politics because I feel like it doesn't really get you anywhere in a sense. Like I still feel fight for your rights and everything,
well,
but it's a sensitive subject.
There's a lot of
Everyone's
opinions in
entitled to
politics.
their own opinion
It's a-
and their own feelings, and I respect all those as well. So I don't want to. I'm not pushing politics because I don't want to upset anyone because It's just not what I do. I don't like upsetting people, and I don't want to piss people off. But the reason I'm in defence for Yeti is because of what I said. I know what that company is and how they are, and I'm not sticking up. I'm not. There's no political agenda there.
It's a principle thing.
It's a principle thing.
It's a
That's
principle
right.
thing, yes. So, with politics, there's a lot of opinions in politics, which means, and you're a black and white person, which you like facts.
Yeah, yeah.
It's black or it's white.
Yeah.
In politics,
And
there's
I
all
like
grey.
to not
Like religion
talk
as
any
well.
shit in
Religion's
between.
very grey
Yeah.
because there's different religions, there's different beliefs within religions. There's
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
different
And then-
interpretations
No,
and then
and
politics,
culture.
politics has got similar arguments within politics because there are different streams of politics, there are different systems of belief, and there are different ways that people apply them. But principles are principles, and the black and white principle is if someone hasn't done something wrong, they're being accused of it, it's something worth getting pissed off about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's false accusations, things like that.
Mm.
They happen to you personally. I mean, I can't fight, but I know that times in my life where I've been angry enough where I'd love to crack someone in the head is when I know I definitely haven't done something wrong, and someone just keeps putting it into me that you did it. That's the one time I get angry enough.
Just let me know, mate. I'll come and sort them out. I'll pen them right in the neck.
But I'm just saying that's like and that's me. That's a principle argument. Principles are this is what's right, this is what's wrong. I did what was right. You're telling me I did what was wrong. There's going to be a clash.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you got these, and that's why I know you don't like politics. I know you don't talk about any of those sorts of things ever. And that's why you don't talk about other people much, because it's either there's a fact there that you know yourself that you saw with your own eyes. You will talk about that, and you'll know what it is, and you'll say what it is. But anything else that's hearsay, you're just like, it's not fact.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
And that's
Like me and Kim won't watch the news.
Yeah.
Because there's no real facts in the news.
We don't know if that's real.
plus you'd probably be hunting anyway.
Probably.
No,
But
and the
no,
other
it's
thing
just
is
the
that
news sells negativity and sells people's hearts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's how they try and like the old saying,
if I
like a
wanted
good
to
news story
cry
doesn't
every
sell.
day, I'll watch the news.
Yeah.
I don't want to cry every day, so I'm not watching the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so depressing.
I'm a little geared that way myself, and I do.
I know that you actually like to know.
I like to know what's
things.
going on, and I like to be educated.
I
in
just
things,
plead
but
ignorance.
But
No,
I
you
also
say the
apply the
bullshit,
same
you
sort.
know.
Yeah, I say
Yeah.
the bullshit. I look at facts. I do a lot of fact checking and stuff like that. But I had a conversation the other day about like the social media thing, especially with kids. So, and this is where something like what I see that's happening in the world, which is not a good thing. It's like, I've got two daughters. One's 15, one's 12.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them have got social media, and I'm like a old strict wog dad. No social media for you, But it's like, they're not going to be cool at school and all that sort of thing. I'm like, I don't care, because I always I look at my 15-year-old. She's got homework coming out of her ears. School's already got its own pressures. Homework's pressure. She's just got her first part-time job. She loves going horse riding. She's got her friends that she talks to that ring her up and organise things with her. And then she wants social media. She's asked for it a couple of times and she's given up on it because I'm so hard on it. But I just say to her, I said, this stresses you, this stresses you, this stresses you. You've got
It
this
depends
on your
on
plate.
the kid.
And I say to her,
Sure.
I said, and then so your friends know what you did. If you want to tell them something cool that you did, the friends are going to invite you to something. But I always say to her, like, but if someone says something negative to you, and this is my thoughts, is that the kids are still developing minds. Like they're not mature. Like when you're an adult, you know what to brush off, you know not what to take serious, and all those sorts of things, and you can rise above it. But as a kid, and you're emotionally susceptible because your hormones are kicking in, you're going through puberty and all those sorts of things. I see a lot of kids being exposed to things that they're not ready for. And the ones that really bother me is obviously the sex stuff, because kids are seeing things now at such a young age, and so they just think, it's nothing to go down. That's happening in the street. I see that all the time. That doesn't mean nothing. And then the violence, they'll look at clips. Dude got king knocked out. Next clip, someone gets stabbed. Next clip. But you know what? The kids are going flicking, moving on to the next one, flicking, moving on to the next one. What they don't realise is the devastation that's left behind from each one of those clips. So that's why I don't want my kids don't need to be a part of that or see. I just feel that
Yeah,
way.
but the thing is that's the way the world is. So when they reach a
That's
certain
what you
age,
think.
they haven't been exposed to any of that. So
no,
it's
I
gonna
think
be
it
a
takes
shock.
all time.
Like,
no, I know that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Depends what kid it is and stuff like that.
But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, they see these things where there's like, especially with the violence. Then when that kid goes out and something happens out in the street, the next thing I've got to do, I seen it on the clip. I've got to kick that guy in the head as hard as I can when he's on the ground because that's the normal thing to do. That's what they're doing in the videos. I'm doing it. But then guess what happens? Here comes the cops, here comes jail time, that person's in hospital, here comes the fines. It could be you on the receiving end of it. The moment you're on the receiving end of one of those things, when you look at those clips, oh my God, that's shocking. That's shocking, that's shocking. These kids don't know that. They don't know that that person that just got killed in that video is now could be a vegetable. Parents have got to take care of the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And I don't like
I
that
think you're
side of
to
it.
an extreme end though.
No, but
Yeah.
I don't think you're giving them enough credit. Anyone with any sort of, there's still such thing as a common sense, and this,
Yeah.
everyone knows what's right and wrong.
yeah.
That if a kid then goes, the next thing I'm supposed to do is kick that kid in the head, they're fucked. Like, no.
It happens
No.
a lot, man.
Yeah, I know, but because people are lost today.
But all
in
I'm saying
today's
is,
day
as
and
my
age, a
kids
lot of
get
people
older,
are lost.
As my kids get older and they become more mature and they become their
So
minds
you're just
develop.
gonna like
They
ban
can-
them with everything.
No, I
Just gonna
don't
be
ban
like,
them with everything.
There you go.
No,
Watch this.
no,
No, he
but,
wouldn't say
no.
that,
As they're
though.
older, they'll
Hey,
make.
what's this stuff?
No, as they get older, they'll be able to make their own choices around those sorts of things.
No, that's right. And you raise
Yeah.
them a certain way that
Yeah,
they know,
I've
and they. Yeah.
Anyway, I was just talking about just the
Yeah.
desensitisation that's happened in the world.
Definitely.
I
It's
agree.
extreme.
It's a complete desensitization.
And it seems like it happened
You know,
overnight.
I'd rather bring them up here
It
and
seems
let them
like
go
it
ride
happened
the horses
overnight.
and learn how to
No,
drive
that's
the
right.
car and learn how to build a
It's-
fire.
But
And,
let them know those other things happen as well.
Like,
Yeah,
as in,
to
we
avoid it.
just
Yeah.
we just
No,
actually
that's right,
said
yeah.
we don't watch the news. My kids have never watched the news because we don't watch the news. Doesn't mean I shelter them from
No, that's right. 'cause guess
real
what?
life situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
But
we
that's
are,
another version of it.
we
Because the
are-
news is just as bad.
we are
The shit you see in
pretty-
the news
Yeah,
and what's
absolutely.
happening in the news.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
can't say, oh, that's just a movie
yeah.
because it's
Like I
real
just
life.
can't get away from, and it seems like it's what old timers said to me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, but seriously, when I was a kid, man, there was like 20, 30 kids in my street.
I
we
know,
were
but
playing,
it's a different
we were playing
world
hide and go
now.
seek every night, British Bulldog.
Yeah,
But we've
same,
created that
same.
world. We've allowed that shit to happen.
Who did?
I go over.
I didn't.
I did
You
it.
said
Society's
we.
let it happen.
You said
Yeah.
we.
We're a part of society.
I didn't. No, I didn't do it.
I go over to Western Australia.
I didn't do
I
it.
go over to Western Australia in Wickham, and you know what? The kids are doing what I was doing when I was a kid. They're out there.
No, that's
they've
right.
got their chalk and they've marked their squares on the
That's the
street.
city, mate.
Yeah.
They're playing handball.
Yeah.
They're doing all those things.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that we've become so protective of our children that we've allowed all that negativity to be the controlling factor. Because I know my daughter's in year 6 at school. We live a k1.5 from the school. Me personally, I would love to do it, but I won't do it. I'd love for her to be able to walk to school every day by herself. But you know what?
She doesn't walk to school.
Not with me, but she won't walk by herself.
How old
No,
is she?
that's fine.
She's 12 years old.
Oh,
No,
that's
no.
yeah.
No, but
that's
I'm saying
different.
she's got.
Yeah.
No, we live in a city, and she's got to walk
Yeah.
through the city. But it's, when I was
No,
a
that's
kid,
what
I
I'm
used to
saying.
do 3Ks
Yeah.
nearly every single
Yeah,
day.
Yeah, but there was kids getting kidnapped when you were doing that too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But right now, that's it. It's just
Your
blanket.
parents were loose. They should be locked up.
Oh, man. I knew
No.
what a van was.
No,
if
that's
it
right.
came
All
in
that
a van,
shit
it was
was
like the
happening,
A-team, and it was the
Okay.
man in there.
There's a
I'd
couple
run.
of things.
But
There's a couple of
Hunter
things
walks
here.
to and from school every day, and it's
Yeah.
probably further than that.
Who does?
And one time he didn't
Yeah,
come
Alexia
home on
does,
time and
but-
Kim freaked out because he went and got ice cream as well. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit
it's
happens,
true.
dude.
It's
It
true.
does happen.
It happened back then and it still happens today.
Yeah.
You hear about it more today because there's more coverage and
Yeah.
exposure and stuff like that. It's like social media is instant. It's instant news.
Yeah.
Whenever something happens, instant. You
Right
shot
away.
that buck this morning and people seeing it at the same time because I posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's the same at the news. There's a lot more coverage. Evil shit. There's been more evil times than now.
Yeah,
There
heaps
has.
more
Absolutely there
evil
has.
times.
And
There
that's
just
why.
wasn't social media.
No, that's
back
right.
then.
And it's the same with, like, I'm in a hate-love relationship with technology and how far the world's come. Like, it's awesome to have an iPhone and do an email and
Like you can just
FaceTime,
run your whole life
photos,
from your
send
phone.
photo to another
Yeah.
person, jump in a car, drive to here, go to the airport, fly to the other side of the world. Like I love all those sorts of things, but what comes with it, I really also hate. City, and how it's just desensitized so much, and what kids can get to these days, and what they can hear and see, and it's like it wrecks.
Well, when you look around at people out having dinner and stuff, and there's 5 people around the table, and they're all just, that sort of stuff, like.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I like the old school stuff. I like it, man.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing what we do. We shoot animals, we eat them. Well, we build cabins out of timber. We light fires to keep warm.
No, man, this is
all that sort of shit.
It's all part of.
We lay down, we look at the stars at night. We get to see the Milky Way. People freak out like, "Oh
but
my
that's
God,
what I
is
want
that
to
even real?"
do,
Yes, it's real. Have you ever been out in the pitch black?
But that's me
on a
doing that for
moonless
my
night?
kids. Like I might not let them go on social media, but we'll go ride skateboard. We'll go ride pushy. Go down for a surf. Come up here.
You know what they are?
Take them horse
You know what
riding.
those things are? They're like,
They're treats.
no, not just memories. You know, there's shit that just doesn't go out of fashion.
Oh,
There's certain stuff that just doesn't go out of fashion. It always stays in fashion. It always looks good. Whether it's home decor, whether it's clothing, whatever it is. Riding a bike and doing shit like that with your kids is one of those things that will never go out of fashion. That will never be we don't do that anymore. No, that will always be a thrill to do. Oh, 100%.
Really?
100%. You can't
So
beat
even when
simple
we're
things.
like-
You can't beat camping in a tent.
How
camping
many
with
kids do
family.
you know?
You can't beat going for a
14,
swim.
15-year-old can go catch a horse,
That's-
bridle it up, put a saddle on it, and ride it off.
No, that's right. The
It
kids
doesn't happen anymore, mate.
No, it's a
The kids
dying.
go back to
Kids that
school
do that's
after
rare.
doing this shit, and the other kids at school are freaking out because they've never slept in a tent. They've
Yeah.
never built a fire. They've never,
No.
you know what I mean?
It's
just-
the best stuff to do, but
Yeah.
not everyone's doing it anymore. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. I want my kids and our kids have done it. They've grown up together.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Mm.
That's what I want my
I'm
kids to be doing, because that's how I think
yeah,
how they develop into great adults, because they have this grounding and they're doing things at kids' pace.
Mm.
You know, that's their age pace. They'll pick things up as they go. They'll just happen naturally. You know,
mm,
you didn't come out of the womb an adult with a beard and with an opinion. You know, every
And an
single person
iPhone.
in the planet
yeah.
came out the same, grew up the same. Sometimes I even sit there and I think, sometimes I see people who are just pure assholes. You know? Some people I've come
No,
across
I
in
could-
my life that I just
think
think
it was.
there's some people I've come across in my life and I've just think, oh my God, I just despise this person's attitude, you know, more than anything. And I just sit there and I think, when did this person become this person? At what point in their life did they decide that I am so superior, I'm so arrogant, I'm so rude, I can say and do whatever? At what point in their life did they become such a disrespectful person? Because that's what they are, they're very disrespectful.
Mm.
It's like they lost touch. Hey man, you're a kid just like me. And I often treat people that way. I often think, you know what? You are the same as me. You went to a primary school, you went to a high school.
I think
You grew
some
up.
people
But
have
some
to go
people
through
lose
that.
sight.
Some people come out of that. I think they have to go through that to realise, oh shit, I'm being a real dick
Yeah,
or
some
whatever.
never did.
And it might take,
No.
At what point in
Yeah.
people's life did they just turn into that person? Everybody, and some people lose sight of that too, you know.
yeah.
Sometimes I look at that and I think, this person, when did he become this? How the hell did they get to that point?
Yeah, no, I think
Ah,
that.
come on, man.
I don't know. I think some people. People have. There's something else going on in their life that makes them an asshole. Whatever it is, their girlfriend, their wife cheats on them.
No, look, stress does a lot of things to people.
What's that?
Oh no, Aunt's ass is just like.
Just taking up the YouTube channel. You're right, mate.
Yeah.
Bit
Shoot.
of crack action.
Keep up the details.
No, I'm just saying.
No, I think some people, depends what you're talking about, because some people are just, that's just how they end up being, but I think sometimes you just get people on an off part of their life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things that might be out of their control, or
Yeah.
things, you know, things that everyone's got to learn as they go. Everyone should be learning as they go. I don't think anyone's just created
I'm conscious of
So
things.
do you ever
like-
find like stagnant people, like that don't grow and
Yeah,
don't
absolutely, man.
Sure.
Absolutely. You know how much times like those people, like I try to have a massive positive influence on them. Like I always, there are people that I know to this day, right now, that I know when I talk to them, I lift them up, and I consciously want to lift them up. I
Yeah.
want them to be positive. I want them to get their zest back for life.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Look, and you know, a lot of this comes back to mental illness. Like I'm very aware of what depression is a sickness, just like a cut in your arm that needs stitches. I've been around depressed people. It is a sickness that needs healing. You know, and I've seen some. There's been some very sad things happen around people that with suicides and things like that, where you just think, how did he get to that point, or how did she get to that point? They were just purely that sick. It was almost, it's like a cancer. In their own mind, it is like a cancer. There's one guy in particular, I won't say any details, but I just know that what he was as a person, how my interactions were for him, how he was with his family, that guy was so sick, and it was so sad because he never said nothing, and he just ended it. And you just think, how sad, that's pure. It's like it's almost as clear cut as there's a snapped arm.
Yeah.
Put a plaster on it, it will fix your snapped arm. This guy's brain had snapped.
Yeah.
But there was no plaster applied. You know?
And a lot more difficult.
And I can see that where some people are bitter in life and they're like that. Then I just see some people who are just plain rude and just ignorant and arrogant, and I just think, oh God, I can't be a part of their
No, you
part
can't.
of their scene. I can't be. Too easy going to put under it.
Sorry.
Even
I'm not
the dog don't
laughing.
like
it.
It's
She's trying
just
to
she's
catch
flies.
trying to eat flies.
Yeah, even the dog doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's arrogant people.
No, there's
The
some
flies
people,
are the arrogant people, see?
yeah. There's some people that you can't help. You try and then you end
Yeah.
up burning your own self up. You
Well, it's
know,
exhausting.
trying to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting.
No, it can be exhausting, and like I said, there's some people that you can't help. So it's just like, right, I just gotta part my ways with this person.
But you still
now.
try.
Yeah, you still try, but I've got to part my ways with them now. But yeah, and it's you
gone pretty
end
deep.
up feeling sorry for those
Yeah,
people.
we have.
Oh, God.
You end up feeling sorry for those
Yeah, you
people.
do. You give them lots of
It's
chances.
not- Yeah, it's not even
Well,
if they piss you off and they
Especially
do
if
things
you care
ill
about them and
towards
love
you.
them and you just want the best for them, but they just haven't figured it out yet, and they're just still doing the
but
same shit
some
and getting
people-
the
But
same
maybe
Some
they
people
outcome.
can't
never
figure it
figure
out,
it
and
out.
that's where the mental illness comes into it. You know, it's just constant a cloud. It's constantly a cloud there.
I know, but what can you do? What can you do?
Don't know. But
Well,
it's
you
like,
can just
no one's ever lived this to know.
yeah.
Like no one's ever. It's like me. I've never been as old as I am now.
No,
You know what I mean? So
know.
I'm still working things out as I go. And some of these people, that's just what they're struggling with. They've never been to where they are now, so they don't know.
No.
And I think the more and more we go on, there's more kids without parents, without parenting, without things like that. It's like we were talking to someone not so long ago where, they pretty much had their first baby. She wasn't mothered very well herself or whatever, and then she's sent home with this baby with no real help. It's like she's never been there before. She's never been a mother before. She's never been to that part of her life, and she never had a mother that brought her up to know that. So it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Like, how do you know?
But then
I
you
don't
get the
know.
odd.
It's no different than
the odd
going in
bod say-
business the first time. I've never been in business
Yeah.
before. I didn't know how to do this or do that, and you're just like you're making your own
But-
story in life as you go.
But
you
we
know,
can relate that to
nothing's
you
written.
too. Like you had no opportunity in your upbringing, in a sense. You had you had a path set out where you'd be a destructive person and
just
have a
really-
negative life in a sense. Compared what we consider positive is sort of what we do, but you had everything that was in the direction that your life was pointed, as far as you were culturally exposed in your upbringing and things like that. Everything said, do wrong. This is just do that. Just do that. Do the
So
wrong
just-
thing. Do the wrong thing. Even if you thought that would have been the right thing. But then you were one of those people, and I've always admired that in you, in that you were one of those people who had all this negativity, as the examples in your life that you had to look up to, but you actually use that as a force to push you to the positivity, which you actually use those things as examples of that. I just don't want to be that. So in a sense, for me,
I feel like I nearly did that out of instinct. It would be like an animal's got an instinct to do a certain thing, like look after its young, defend its young, dig a burrow in the winter, whatever to survive. It was like an actual instinctive thing that made that push in me to treat it like that. Like, this is what I've got to do. I was thinking, and so sitting here right now, I don't even know how that came about, because it took so long to sort of come out of that and move away from that. Because so before I was 13, I'd witnessed rape, murder, suicide, and a bunch of domestic violence. Something that you would think would destroy any kid. And it was instinctive, it really was instinctive, that's like, I now need to use those things and what's happened to me in life to completely flip it around and do the complete opposite. I want my own family, so I can show people that, I'm not like, this other person in my family. I want my own family, so I can prove that I'm not like that person and I can treat them well. I want my own family, so
you can treat them well and
how
I should have been, how you wanted to
exactly.
have been treated.
This is how life is supposed to be. This is how family's supposed to be.
This is what I'm saying. You went that way, right? But I grew up in a very, very rough neighbourhood, and that sort of style of upbringing for a lot of the guys that I grew up with and girls that I grew up with, they just perpetuated it.
Yeah. Destroys them.
They perpetuated it like that.
Well,
that was what they
they're
used,
just
and that's what they're.
the cycle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All they know.
But that's what I'm saying. But then you actually had all those tools to go and live that life, but you actually went the complete opposite way, and not many people do it. It really doesn't happen a lot. When usually, that's the demographic you're in. That's the demographic you stick to. Because that's what you know, that's what you're used to. People thrive in that environment. That's just.
It's easier at the time.
Like, you can't. You did, in a certain point in your life, you were reliving that cycle, and something must have happened to stop that. Because
my brain kicked in and said, "Fuck, going down that same path."
Yeah, exactly. Because
it's easier to go down that path.
You still
especially
knew
at the time.
like right from wrong and stuff like that, but you were still like, because you were stuck in that hole in that life. You were, fucking stealing bikes and whopping school and doing this and doing that. And all these wrong things, and then one day you just got out of it.
No,
not one day.
Well, not one day, but
and that's what I mean. It took so long that I can't even see the point where I was like, "Yep, I'm doing this. I'm not doing bad. I'm doing good."
Yeah.
There was never actually that point. It was just a real slow process and some real
hard truths and
it was and
experiences.
some real hardcore thoughts behind. This is what I've got to do. This is what I've got to do. No, don't make that decision. Make this decision. Don't do that. Do this. And doing some wrong things and feeling like a cunt about them. Then going, I don't want to feel like that again. I don't want to be in trouble again.
But that's human nature kicking in. That's actual pure human instinct that says.
Human instinct.
Human instinct is like
But I think that you were always that sweet, innocent kid that wore their heart on their sleeve and knew.
Except for some real freaks out there, like some real proper weirdos, I think the whole human race is like that. I think the whole human race is really innocent. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was a baby at one point.
Yeah, that's what
everyone was perfectly innocent at one point. And there's things along the line that changes you. Unless you're actually born with some sort of mental illness imbalance that makes you actually think nasty thoughts and I want to hurt people and I want to steal and I want to do this. Unless you're actually born with that, I think everyone's actually innocent at one point and they slowly change. They slowly change their fate to become a bad person.
But I was making the point of where you ended up from where you came.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. Everyone.
Look, I grew up in that rough
everyone
neighbourhood,
starts
but I
out.
was pretty protected.
Yeah.
You know, like just because
Oh,
my
mate,
family.
Your
said
mum
was-
and dad are a champion.
My mum and dad never stressed in their whole life.
Yeah.
But you know, me personally, like, when I was like 14, I already like, you know, I don't drink and stuff. And from the time I was like 14, I already was like, I'm not gonna drink. It's wrong. I'm like scared of breaking a rule, you know. I'm not gonna drink because it's wrong. So from that age, I was like that, and then I was stubborn as a mule when I got through my
You're
teens
so
and
funny.
into my 20s, and all my friends were doing everything under the sun.
No, that's good, mate.
Never
That's
even
awesome.
puffed on a cigarette, never drank coffee, never done nothing.
It's-
That was just things that I just thought, that's wrong and I'm not going to do it.
I remember, I think because the peer pressure, especially in Australia, there seems to be a lot of peer pressure behind drinking or doing drugs.
It's a
You
massive
know,
part
your
of our
mates are
culture.
doing it. You know, no, you got to do it. You're a pussy if you don't do it. I even got that through my earlier work days when you are older and the dudes are older, they'd still do it. Like I'd go to the pub and they'd be like, "What do you want to drink?" And I'd be like, "Just a water or, you know, whatever." Have a drink. No, I'm right. I'll just have a water. Come on, have a beer, have a rum. No, I just want water. Oh, you're a fucking pussy. And I'll be like, no, being a pussy would be me not wanting to drink and you saying, come on, have a drink, and then me going, oh, okay, yeah, I'll have a drink. You still don't call me
Exactly.
a pussy.
Yeah.
No. It's the
That
complete
would be
opposite.
being a pussy.
You're
Standing
trying
your
to
ground.
force me.
Yeah.
And this dude, I remember the one time, he was a big biker. He was like part of the Hells Angels and shit. And they all called me Goat. He'd be like, have a fucking drink, Goat. Come on. And I'll be like, no. And he's like, you're a fucking pussy. And I'm like, no. A pussy would be me caving into you and going, yeah, I'll have a drink. No, I'm fine, mate.
And what was his reaction when you said that to him? Did he
People
say
come
it?
around, they end up expecting you. They end up respecting you.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't do that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, no, you just got to stick to your guns. Everyone's different. And I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to be like my father or a few other people that were around me in my life. So I didn't drink. But you know what's hilarious? Australians are renowned for being big beer drinkers, right? Big beer
Oh,
drinkers.
yeah, it's a.
Where were we at? Utah at the hunting Western Hunting
Hunting
Expo. Yeah, Western Hunting Expo. And there's like, we'll leave Kim out of it because she wrecks this whole story. 'Cause she's a drinker. But there's like 4 Aussies there.
No, 3.
3
You
Aussies. Me, Dan Watson,
and
and
Nick Morton.
Nick Morton.
Yeah.
3 Aussies
And me.
there.
And me.
Kim's not there. It's just the
I'm
3 Aussies.
representing
3 Aussie
Australia.
males.
3 Aussie males.
3 Aussie males.
Yeah,
And 1
3
female.
Aussie males, and all non-drinkers, mate.
Yeah.
And you're a non-drinker, and I met another Australian the other day.
Jerry doesn't drink.
Jerry Redmond doesn't drink, and I'm just like, that's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friend, he's Italian, and when he went to Italy, like he's not a drinker, like a big drinker or anything. When they went to Italy, like they had dinner, and he's telling me that. Anyway, do you want a beer? Yeah, he had a beer. Anyway, they had dinner. We went for about 2.5 hours, something. And by the end of it, he had 4 beers. They were full on thought he was an alcoholic.
What?
He drank 4 beers. He was like,
4 beers?
That's nothing.
you know, I'm just saying, but that's a different culture.
Yeah.
Like in Italy, they'll have wine every meal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
or 1 beer and stuff. They don't get, like, it's not socially accepted to be publicly drunk in Spain and stuff like that. But in
You
Australia,
can't be drunk off
the
4
more drunk you
beers.
are and someone's holding your hair back while you're vomiting in the street, you know,
That's normal.
that's
The
that.
more
You
legend
know, that's
status.
yeah, the bigger legend status
I've,
you've got.
I've
He
had a
filled
whole
up
bottle
he
of
fell in
wine.
the
I'm
trough.
not drunk.
Yeah,
And
come
everyone
on.
talks about like
Yes,
they're a god.
Yeah, you're talking to the camera when we're not talking to it. You're talking loud. You're doing hand signals.
Alright, I'll just leave them.
No,
Bye,
no,
guys.
well, guess what? Antonio's going hunting first thing in the morning.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
been going for 2 hours and 15 bloody minutes
No way.
or something. 2 hours and 13. And Kim's probably keen to hit the sack with me because I'm such a charming young man. So we're going to kill it. Thanks for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And thanks to the sponsor of this podcast, Option Archery. You can go and check out their gear at www.optionarchery.com. Have a good one, you bloody legends. Thanks for joining in, kiddies. Ah.
Used to that.
Awesome watch and listen. Thanks. Thanks, fellas and Kim. Very nice.